Hello, I'm Henry.
I'm Jacob.
And welcome back to Techno Poverty. I don't know, is Barney buried in the chat? Barney's here with us as well, folks. We have fallen out of the future. It is now Toy Soldier Spring. The fruits of our labor in the fall have reaped us a bigger table has sprung forth.
It's been great.
As you can see, we now, I don't know, it feels very, I didn't realize, it's like either like sports commentary or like very newscaster.
Listen, we're going to give you the facts.
Yeah, we're covering
right
wars,
here.
folks. Shit's happening.
A situation room. That's what.
Yeah, we're in a situation room. We've been monitoring the situation. Hi, if you're here for the first time, Techno Poverty is an excuse to read video games and play books, bounce the two off one another with you, the chat. Guess what? We've also, in completing Death Stranding 2, linked up the chiral network. The time streams are in sync. The YouTube now uploads the same night the Twitch finishes, so if you happen to be watching on YouTube, you can't make it out to the chat, just leave a comment. I'll try my best to answer. If you get in there before the next stream, I mean, we don't get enough traffic on YouTube right now, so I'm very responsive to comments if you want to be kind of early in on the gold rush, so to speak. But we're done with Death Stranding 2. We're not done with Hideo Kojima. We are now in the Toy Soldier Spring. I hate what happened Saturday. We were planning this whole military block, but you know what? It's not like we didn't know we were gonna fuck with Iran. There's a Whitest Kids You Know skit that's aged like fine wine about the whole thing. Yeah. It's been a decades-long project in the making. This isn't a distraction from the Epstein papers. Like this.
I mean, it can be, sure, but
this probably would have happened under Harris as well to some extent. Probably not to as. Well, we'll see. I don't want to get too into it because I've only been keeping broad strokes aware. I walked away from Babyland, folks. It has helped me a lot. I've realized instead of going to Babyland and looking at posts, I've been reading a lot of like single issues, comics, and short stories. So that's been really fun and much more productive use of my time.
You mean you're not outraged by everything all the time?
I just received the first omnibus of like Milestone Media. They're the black studio that where they created Static, famous from Static Shock. They also have some really other great characters like Icon and Hardware. I'm falling in love with Hardware, but I've just been digging into that instead of looking at Babyland, where last I saw it was either white nationalism being retweeted by Elon Musk or DNC bots telling me to do bad things to Hassan Piker.
That's the internet, baby.
Yeah, you know what, though? I've also been reading poetry because of this, and what we're talking about tonight while playing Metal Gear Solid 2 is we're talking about two dudes. I originally was going to just talk about Frederic Jameson's essay on postmodernism and consumer society. I've linked that. It's part of the pinned tweet. I want to talk about postmodernism because of Metal Gear Solid 2 and sort of these perceptions of the concept of postmodernism and even modernism itself that Metal Gear Solid 2 has proliferated among the most like gamer-brained folks on the internet. And in preparing for this stream, as we were edging out Death Stranding 2, shout out to friend of the chat, Surge, who was here guesting last time. They also recently beat Death Stranding 2. We had a really fun post-game session that made me question if Death Stranding 2 even needed a story, because once all of Australia is connected and you're just kind of doing deliveries, that in itself is pretty nice, you know?
Yeah, like it seems like it's a really fun near walking sim.
It's space trucking, is what I call it, because we would throw on podcasts, we'd be chatting with friends, we'd be listening to our Coast to Coast AM, you know.
Ooh, yeah, like a good road trip. I mean, I appreciate a good road trip.
But that was all buying me time because I realized I can't just like jump into Jameson and postmodernism. I need to kind of also explain where I'm coming from with like romanticism and modernism, and there's literally, as the Go Live notification says, like 200 years of just ideas. Postmodernism isn't just a thing. In fact, that perception of postmodernism is something called hypermodernism, which we might get to by the end of tonight. But to start, just so that we're not talking for 50 minutes before getting to the game, I'm going to read 3 poems, then we're going to fire up Metal Gear Solid 2. And these are 3 short poems by William Butler Yeats. I chose these 3 poems to give you an idea, not of what postmodernism is, but we're going to use them as kind of our tentpole guiding post for our journey through Romanticism to modernism. We're gonna be flying around a lot tonight, folks. I'm sorry if we're getting a bit abstract or heady, but this is also why we have you here, the chat with us. Jari, I know you've mentioned you have some knowledge in the realm of postmodernism. Well, what I'm going to be doing is I'm using Yeats and his transition you see through his life to kind of like get us set up and primed for the ideas. But you know what? Let's just enjoy the poetry for a moment, folks. Let's stop thinking about the text and what the text could like mean on like some deeper level. We're not here to interpret innuendo. Let's just enjoy the prose of the thing. I'll talk more about who Yeats actually is as we're playing Metal Gear Solid. Let's just appreciate the work because it works in so many ways on so many levels, and one of them is the pure aestheticism of it. This is the Song of Wandering Aengus. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped my berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl, with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by a name and ran, and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering, through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she is gone, and kiss her lips, and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. That's sweet, right? That's just that's nice, that's romantic. There's something wistful to it. I saw a sprite, I saw a fairy, I saw something within the nature that was sublime. It was seductive, and I want to chase it for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to trust myself to follow that. Oh, what's up, Kirsten?
What up, what up? Ooh, Manwich in Baldur's Gate 3. Y'all do RJS.
And Jari, that's good to know that you finished the Jameson. I'm kind of curious on your thoughts of it, because if I remember right, that essay's from the mid-'80s, so there's still another 40 years, basically, 30 years between then and now, that he even leaves as an open question he's wondering about. But yeah, that was the Song of Wandering Aengus. That's an early poem by Yeats, and as I said, I was just pointing out the kind of the romanticism of it, the sweetness of it, the sublime trust in the divine, and kind of whimsy to it. We're gonna now move to the middle of his career. This is more in the 1900s. Yeats was born in 1865. Interesting note, that's when the American Civil War ended as well. He died in 1939, right before World War II broke out. Now, he wasn't American, he was Irish, Jacob.
Different.
So that poem I read right there, with the whimsy and the kind of like the seduction of nature and the romanticism and kind of like the mysticism of life, like, can you see like an Irish guy, 1800s, like being within that kind of like that thought and that fanaticism, but also he was involved in, like, he was a supporter of, like, the Irish Republic, which at this time, he was, like, an Irish nationalist, which meant, like, you know, a free Ireland from, like, British rule.
Oh, yeah. Which we can all beat it out.
God, I said I wasn't going to turn this into a huge lecture into watching Romanticism turn into modernism, but I'm almost doing it. What I'm saying is, like, Yeats starts out as a whimsical dude, and as you follow his career, you really see his voice evolve and bounce off of, like, his life and, like, the hardships of his life. This is his most famous poem, possibly. It's called The Second Coming, and I just want to ask you to consider how it sounds tonally in contrast to The Wandering Aengus. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loose, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when the vast image of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born? Geez.
Yeah.
What happened to like following the whimsical lady who said your name and you just were gonna go off into the woods and follow the golden apples of the sun and the silver blossoms of the moon? Quite the shift, and there's a lot of life that happened between those two poems, and you know, we're talking about Romanticism to Modernism to Postmodernism. This isn't going to be explicitly, even though I'm using poetry as an example, this is throughout the arts. This is reflective of a culture in shift, reacting to new technologies, reacting to like the imperial expansion of the Anglosphere, the reaction to exploited labor and the tensions of militarization and, you know, World War I, World War II, the Irish stuck under the English. There's so much that, you know, modernism, postmodernism, romanticism all envelops, and so let's just keep in mind we're talking more of vibe than a definitive definition here, as far as what I'm trying to give you as guideposts to the mood of these movements, of these ideas. Also, like, the poems give you the vibe, but like there's postmodern architecture, there's modernist architecture, there's, you know, romantic literature, romantic prose, romantic fashion. It all expresses itself through a just faceted amount of ways in the culture. You know, whatever we can use to make art, we'll make art with, if that makes any sense. Jacob, does that make sense?
Yeah, like, I think that's tracking. It's the artistic intent into the draft that you still want to have.
Yeah, but yeah. Eventually you'll get your pissed Christ and such, which again is format fucking with the medium is message. What does it, you know, transpose through this go? If I recall correctly, it's not even that like it's a Christ in piss. It's a photo of Christ in piss and the distancing effect of the photography and obscuring and making you like recontextualize the whole. Like, because you don't recognize it as piss unless you're told so in photograph form.
Yeah, and then like, I got you, the context of it.
Sorry, I just want to make sure. But yeah, and that's something I guess you can kind of track in those first two poems. So like, again, there's this almost pagan, whimsical, I say pagan, I mean that in the most complimentary, but like just like quick off the cuff form. Just like the trust in nature, the kind of go out and go into the world and like romantically like be. The second coming's like, no, the center cannot hold. There's a beast slouching towards Bethlehem. There's a sense of the same spiritual existence of something romantic that his early poetry hints at, but it's being lost. It needs to be saved. It needs to be reconstituted. It needs to be discussed. Both of these poems, if you've noticed, had some redundant wording, some very intentionally redundant wording. The word gyre is something that comes up a lot throughout Yeats's poetry. Also, you know, the concept of Byzantium and a lot of historical concepts. I would also like to point to stuff like Leda and the Swan or like Easter 1913 as these very interesting uses of refrain and repetition and kind of like they're meditations on darker aspects of like mysticism, like the most apocalyptic impulses of our romantic side, and kind of trying to transpose those like ancient anxieties and paranoias into like a new context or a contemporary context. A big part of Yeats's Yeah, a big part of Yeats's project as well was like he was going to be the Irish poet. Like he's got the English language in his hands and he's going to turn it into something Irish. Like he is doing like an Irish project, which is where a lot of his like mysticism mythology comes into play, and then it starts coming into contact and tension with like the political realities that he starts living through, and you get something more like the Second Coming, which the center cannot hold. It sounds very doomer, it sounds very cynical, but there's a constant spiral, like return to the mystic and the re-examination, and this is something Yeats does that, like, this sort of is what modernism is. If romanticism is like the early 1800s and we're exploring the world, we're colonizing places, there's all this new technology to do imperialism, we have religious justifications for racism that are just like no holds barred. The English are just, the white people are just going at it. The world's ours to plunder and take and explore, and God wants us to do this, and we're doing the Lord's work, and like we can romantically engage with nature in good faith. Like we're gonna go pluck those golden apples, and it's gonna be a great project.
It's great. We love it.
And then World War I happens. Yeah, and then you start going like, oh, we had these tools and these technologies and the ability to reach this grace, and we have fallen from it, and so we need to reconstitute and earnestly like use our tools towards that project, towards that project of like rebuilding grace, of reapproaching God, of like reconstituting maybe patriarchal society by some measures. Anyways, that's sort of like what romanticism into modernism is like the reconstitution of like modernity, the technological realities, the material realities of like we have these machines, these weapons, are we the authors of our own death and destiny, that kind of stuff.
Grab that cable, sorry. All right, yeah.
And I don't think I would consider Yeats's like final position to it. I wouldn't call his later stuff postmodern, but as he's getting there, I'm just going to read one last poem, and you'll see how it's a nice synthesis of the two styles I've been talking about that he's been swinging about. And as he's getting there, it's up to the next generation sort of to take the language from there, because it's not about like individualism, hero narratives, and exceptional beings. It's about just like articulating and animating what the culture is feeling. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to read this last poem. It's simply called Politics, and it opens with a quote from Thomas Mann. In our time, the destiny of man presents its meanings in political terms. I guess before I get to the poem proper, I do also just want to say, note how while the Second Coming is very anxious and clearly like apocalyptically minded, it also cakes itself in mythology and a sort of esoteric metaphor. It's not talking about like the immediate now in the sense that there's a direct, tangible present to it. It's, the mythological, like the beast is slouching towards Bethlehem, and in the east something rises. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. The centaur cannot hold. It's these abstracted, very intense feelings, and there's a sort of innuendo and a bridge of interpretation the reader is asked for there. And I just want to contrast that with Politics here, which is, I think, if not his last poem, one of his last poems. It's very concise. It's not a complete swing away from the realist, cynical kind of skepticism of modernity. I'm just going to read it. How can I, that girl standing there, my attention fix on Roman or on Russian or on Spanish politics? Yet here's a traveled man that knows what he talks about, and there's a politician that has both read and thought, and maybe what they say is true of war and war's alarms, but oh, that I were young again and held her in my arms. That dude wants to fuck war. like the actual like, oh man, like, oh yes, I'm old and I should know better, but how do I attract that young girl there? And she is war, and yeah. The want to return to that, the romanticization of that conflict, the I should know better, but I want to go back. It's very self-reflexive of his own constant movement between, you know, that mythological and that modern. And like, again, that's the modernist thing, that negotiation of like the old and the new, and like what language do we have now, what linguistic ideas, what technological applications do we have. We're going to start on Metal Gear Solid 2 now, and we'll get back into Jameson when it comes to the second half, but thank you for bearing with us. Jacob, I noticed you were brewing some tea. Tell me a bit about that while we get the game set up.
We got a lovely white tea. What you got? I always forget the name of this one, but it's one of my favorites. Okay, the Shumao Fong.
Shumao Fong? Oh, yes, that is a delicious one.
It is. I'm also, I remembered something I saw earlier about being able to monitor the situation, so now I am also
monitoring the situation?
We're constantly monitoring the situation. We have a situation up and we're monitoring it.
All right. Jacob, are you familiar with Metal Gear Solid 2?
You know, not really. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I expected as much, which is excellent, because this was kind of, picture this. It's 2001, Christmas 2001.
All right.
9/11 scared the shit out of your 12-year-old brain. But you know what? Your mom and dad were like, well, let's buy you the most popular thing right now on the PlayStation 2, which seems to be this. Just to give you a framework, this game's 2001.
Dang. And we're predicting 2007 2009?
Yes. And just to give you a heads up, I forget the name of the title designer on this opening sequence we're about to watch. This is why I want to make sure you have your headphones on, because for the first game Kojima did on the PlayStation 1, he didn't have this, but then on this game, he brought Harry Gregson Williams on board, who is like Michael Bay's score composer. This was one of those games that really, like, Hideo Kojima was like trying to get Hollywood in. So he got Michael Bay's composer. He got the title designer did like the Mask of Zorro and like The Rock, Seven. I think he's still doing movies to this day. I think I saw that Harry Gregson Williams, the composer, did the score to The Last Duel, which I think is an extremely good movie by Ridley Scott. He kind of just like pulled off a masterpiece in his late stages, I think. Like, I find Ridley Scott's workman-like approach like admirable, but I do think he kind of does a lot of like just like he wants to keep active, so he kind of like just cuts tourniquets. Is like, okay, next one. I think The Last Duel was something special though. That was a really good movie.
I really loved The Last Duel.
Yeah. All right. So just in 2001, PlayStation 2. This is trying to be the be-all, end-all presentational whiz-bang like, this is a video game. Also, there's some stuff near the end they had to change because of September 11th. There's a scene near the end I'll tell you more about as we get there, where because of the World Trade Center they removed some stuff.
I gotcha. Oh man. Yeah, Philly man, this is I know a lot of people are surprised that this millennial has not seen a lot of Metal Gear Solid stuff, but honestly, I'm kind of glad because I think a lot of things went over my head as a child. I was kind of slow to the roll, so I think honestly it's the perfect time. Jari, it's a white tea, a Shumao Fong. We gotta go to the tea shop.
Philly man, I've played them all. I don't think Jacob's played many or any.
Yeah. I've like maybe played one or two levels of any one of them, but I've never like played through. It's kind of like how I've seen a lot of movies in the 90s, just never at one time, just like in pieces on TV. Look, it's been great. Damn, that gun load sound effect just hits so hard. I am 12 years old. This is
I am
awesome.
the soldier man.
Dude, fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Philmar. Yeah, this voice cast is also just like all-star from like the PlayStation 1 really familiarized like a lot of people with these names, you know?
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 Dreamcast. Little Barney.
Oh, feeling so good tonight. Yeah, you are. Yeah, Brother's opening whips ass. Yeah, it does. Like, and this is still like way cooler than anything Netflix has produced in the past decade. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, the little chemical.
Oh, the classic like going down to the American ballads. Those
Yeah,
ones, you know?
it's interesting because again, this is right before 9/11, so it just really kind of presages a lot.
Damn.
He is though wrangling a lot of 90s, again, like The Rock comes to mind. Three
Con
Kings,
Air.
Con Air, Jerry Bruckheimer, and Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily like eerily predictive. It's just like, no, yeah, he knew where the trends were going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things too, as you get older, you really do see like, oh, well, this is where this is going. Like, yeah, sure, you can't really bet on it to a degree, but like, you kind of can.
Yeah, Ja, I'm actually really happy with how much I started realizing that Yeats would work that way because he's one of my faves. I think once we get into like the actual discussion on postmodernism, the Second Coming's just like such a good just a good foundational like start. Just understanding the concept of like the idea of a center, the center not holding, the need for a center, centrality. Truth be told, it wasn't until this time around reading the Jameson and then doing some satellite reading afterwards where I was like, I think I finally get the concept of post-structuralism, which is a whole nother bag, but you know what? Let's start the game. This story is fictional. Any and all similarities to characters, groups, or other entities are... Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, right.
River 2 years ago.
Damn.
We had classified intelligence that
That's David Hayter speaking.
for transport.
He wrote X-Men.
Things stank, but our
Fuck
noses
yeah.
have been out in the cold too long.
And X-Men too.
I've been on that bridge. Dude, also zoom lenses, just long lenses, baby. Mm-hmm. I really
that pan down.
Yeah. Fuck, this is so cool already.
It's also just understanding how to squeeze, like how to make a lemon out of the technical limitations, how to make lemonade out of the technical limitations of the PS2.
Dude, totally.
I was thinking about that in contrast to like Death Stranding 2, which has less like heavy cutscene direction. It's like, well, yeah, because the machine's powerful enough to do other things. Like this is just like a smart use of resources. Like it makes people feel like they get a bang for their buck.
Yeah. Oh, Barney, you're so cozy.
Showing off these PS2 particle effects. We are playing the PS3 HD remaster by Bluepoint, RIP Bluepoint Games. recently got some bad news about them. He's invisible.
Sick. Mission Impossible. Do you think Tom Cruise has seen us play these games or anything? I think he's too lame to.
He has to have some awareness of it.
Right? Fuck yeah. Nice, love those wire noise. Man, the sound effects. Oh, Philly man, feel free. My memory's pretty bad, so you can spoil away, or just tell me to look away, and I will revert my memory. Killer.
Mullet man.
Yeah.
Like, Casino Royale had yet to be out. James Bond had not yet been reinvented. I don't even think Die Another Day was out yet.
Yeah, right.
I bring that up in particular because this is pre, like, Christopher Nolan. Like, there's going to be stuff that I think is silly and rightfully so that was taken very seriously for the time, especially with the accidental magic of happening after 9/11. So people are way more apt to read in, you know, jingoistic, just like this is like pro-America. This is the real deal.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, did I accidentally skip something or have it going fast? Just accidentally? I thought they had voices during this. What's going on? Why did it do that? I thought Otacon... Okay, there we go. Did I script the codex call? What happened there?
But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed. A little reconnaissance, huh? There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method, we don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Middle Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill. We're not terrorists.
Yeah, totally.
An anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
We're like secret spies for the
Still
UN.
French, Otacon.
You know, they said the UN, so it's serious.
Yeah, nation.
Look at your gears. Your weapon is a tranquilizer gun converted from a Beretta M92F. It's a little hard to work with because you have to reload after each shot since the slide locks.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds and last for hours. You can take down an elephant with that thing. Check out the laser sighting, too. The effects of the anesthetic round will vary depending on what part of the body is hit. We're talking about a difference of tens of seconds between hitting limbs, chest, or head. As for the equipment, hey, Snake.
Shooting a dude in the head with trank darts.
It's kind of a lucky.
Yes.
You haven't read the Surgeon General's warning, have you?
At 6, of course.
Here's the
God.
digital camera. Works almost the same way.
That's how you know you are a cool guy.
Of course. Just doing selfies here is like everyone's fucking dying. Trank to the head. Selfie.
I just hope that codec thing doesn't happen in other
Hey,
instances.
to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the
Like on a
Pentagon's
practical level,
classified
this is just
file myself.
voiceover and like roll, you know?
Yeah.
Too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea. People can get a clear view of the water from Riverside, too.
The water line is too high. According to the navigational plans, this ship should have discharged its cargo upriver.
It's in there, no doubt about it.
The military trains you to watch for threats from the stern on boat. That's SOP for counter-terror ops, too. Security should be tighter.
You worry too much.
Where's the target?
Satellite surveillance is a major international pastime these days. I'd say the cargo holds, safely below the deck. Do you see the entrance to the holds?
Looks like there are a few entryways into the crew quarters. The chopper. What?
So.
Oh no, they're hurting the Marines.
Looks like we're not the only ones after Metal Gear tonight.
Is that a chopper I just heard?
Affirmative. Probably another cavalry. What's their game? Hijack?
They're probably targeting the ship's controls.
Otacon. How many men do you need to take over a tank of this size?
The ship is run by a computer, so I'd say about 18 people.
AKS 74U.
Yeah, it's very pristine dialogue too, man, as far as like intent and pointedness goes. It's very functional. No Marine barber touched that head of hair.
Yeah.
I'm transmitting a photo.
Also, look at these faces. Keep in mind, PlayStation 2, before this, PlayStation 1, just polygons.
Yeah, just like really.
Look up
shitty.
what Solid Snake looks like in the PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid game compared to this face, and just realize how revolutionary it was for the time.
God, imagine how happy Kojima must have been when they saw it. Like, just like, holy shit, we can make him hot as hell.
Killer whale.
Honestly, actually. Gang, I think it's actually a settings issue. Let's see.
Oh, what we got here. Also, really quick, unrelated, but I found this fact earlier crazier, but the retired Major General Neil McCasland, while connected with UFOs program, was reported missing today. And that's just crazy. Just keep that in mind. That's a fun, crazy fact. So what's this game doing? What's it trying to play up with us now?
I'm trying to figure out why the codec calls don't have lines. So like, I'm gonna see if there's like something I did. I'll save and quit and then see if there's a game menu thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, last time I beat this game, it took 11 hours, 26 minutes. Good to know.
All right.
Surprised that save's still here on this PS3.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I looking? I think like.
Okay, let's.
Pretty sure I played Skyrim on PlayStation.
Welcome to the tech set, folks.
Yeah, this is real. This is how you know
We're
me and Henry are not
negotiating with
AI.
technology to get our hallucinations to come real.
Yeah. Like, rather than using AI to do this, me and Henry are just troubleshooting shit in real life.
That is the modernist endeavor. Let's see if Otacon talks to us.
All right, guys, it's going to sound like I'm peeing, but I'm not peeing. This is
Yes! Our boy's talking to us. Our boyfriend is talking to us. Good. We hear that sweet, sweet voice. Thank you, Otacon.
It's not pee, guys. I promise I'm not peeing.
It's just water from the fridge.
When you're ready to pull yourself up, just push the action button again. A grip gauge appears below the life gauge during hanging.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to play this game without the voice fucking exchanges here. They're integral.
When the grip gauge goes to 0,
Okay.
you won't be able to hold on.
And that was, again, fridge,
You need
not
to hoist
pee.
yourself up before you fall off. Push the crawl button
Mostly
while
not
hanging
pee.
to jump down straight below. If the ground is too far below, you'll lose some life. In
All
some
right.
cases, you won't make
Sorry,
it
Philly
along.
man.
Be careful with that.
So, all right.
Alright, so I have
They're little
a
chatty
trank
boys.
gun,
Little chatty boys, some chatty
I have a
Cathy's.
little camera I can use. So a big thing with this game is it was released, this little tanker bit was released as a demo on its own right, packed in with the Zone of the Enders in some places. I think it also came in like magazine demo discs.
Oh, hell yeah. Man, I miss those days.
I do miss those days. I do need to switch to inverted camera controls. I wish... Actually, I didn't see that in the options menu. I don't think I can. This game's that old.
Damn, really? Ah, man. You know? Just
Yeah,
gotta suffer
okay.
through.
You don't have to... No, you do, actually. Fuck, okay.
Damn.
Okay, let's not waste things. Alright, so you can crouch. But yeah, so there were Tom Clancy games up till this point on like the PC and some on the Dreamcast, but like that was also like there wasn't as big a crossover between shooters on PC and console as, you know, post Xbox 360.
Yeah, I remember that being two very different worlds.
Right. But so a lot of what you do here is so as Otacon was telling me, there's a Metal Gear somewhere on this ship. Let's go find it, figure out what's going on.
Hell yeah, Jari, please keep. Man, you just like hyper humped him that like so quickly.
Choked him to death or unconscious, but like and I think a big thing to keep in mind is this came out, so I just shot him in the head with the trank to make sure he falls asleep because I don't remember if they get back up or not.
Oh, gotcha.
There's some bandages. It looks like if I go... How do I do the ledge hang? I thought Otacon told me something about a ledge hang, but I forgot how to do it. I know there is a ledge hang because you have to do it.
Oh hell yeah, Jari, definitely get that last beat clip. And magazine demo discs were great. Same with animation magazines back in the day. Yeah.
Snake, go through that door into the ship's interior. Push the action button down in front of the door and wait until the door opens before letting go. If you need to open the door faster, hit the action button repeatedly while you turn the handle. Make sure you keep doing it until the door is open.
You know, I see a lot of memes where it's like if Mario 64 were made today, if Zelda Ocarina of Time were made today, it'd have all these modern things. But like this game came out in 2001 and has the exact same thing those memes are bitching about. Like the nostalgia is unfounded. It speaks to the kind of false history the consumption market gets you into believing so that you always think something's new or novel.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow paint discourse. But yeah, imagine like your first PS2 game, just these environmental effects really showing off the engine.
Get your shit rocked, bro.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck, bro.
They're just not cool like Solid Snake, who does this kickflip combo. It's not until the third game they really figure out how to do more than just like punch, punch, kick.
Yeah. And
But like, yeah, this little area gives you an overview of like the way the grid works, the map, the cone of sight stuff. Oh shit. Because a big thing is Splinter Cell hadn't come out yet. Like, this isn't really like a hide in the shadows type thing. It's mostly like stay out of view of cones.
yeah,
And, like,
it still has that like.
You can
dynamic.
make noises to distract people and direct them, and then you can trank them in the head. It's still pretty cartoonish in its approach to stealth, though.
Yeah. You can see the building blocks of like everyone else. So it's like, okay, cool, we can do this.
Cool. I'm just running the outside of this tank right now to get a handle on the controls because it's been a while. But yeah, you can do like a jump, sprint, tuck behind.
And that dude just sleeping.
Yeah, I tranked him to sleep.
Just taking a night.
What's Jari saying?
Let's see, we got at Jerry. Should he have outed the lady to her lord? I figure if he can't figure out where the kisses came from, he's practically staying ignorant on purpose. And then what else we get? Oh, did he comply with chastity rules on his quest? I'd say no for DS2. Jari. First time I procedurally generated mountain, I thought it was hot shit.
Procedurally generated mountain.
Yeah. Also, that too would have violated the rules. I agree with your point. PT. Man, I'm trying to switch one on here. It's like I got lost into the conversation.
Bullets.
Hi, Barney. Oh, Barney is so cute right now. If you can see her in the corner of the screen, it's very funny. She's just tongue out, belly pat. She's happy.
The thing about this game is, while the stealth's not realistic, it's so video gamey in a way that feels nice. Like the way there's like cones of vision, and it's very Pac-Man. You see what's around the corner and what you have to get away from and where you can duck in, and because they also were still kind of figuring out cameras on 3D games. This is a fixed camera game.
Yeah. Like it's kind of got that adventure vibe with the map.
Yeah. That is something to really consider in the design of Metal Gear Solid in a moment as well. You can hide in the locker, and there's a babe on the wall. Whoa! I forget her name, but I mean, real
I
model
also
at the
forget
time.
her name. For some reason.
Look at that mullet shine.
Damn, yeah.
I'm mostly checking for ammo or useful items.
Gotcha. Oh, can you crawl under the ground? Is that what those little hatches are on the floor? Or is that just like in the future? I'm sure we'll be able to. But
I was gonna say there's vents you can walk through in other parts, but not here. You can hide in these lockers if you get on alert. Also, if I remember correctly, so big thing was just how interactive things were with this game.
Yeah.
Check out this. You can do that with the fire extinguisher on the wall.
oh hell yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, and the like, even though it has like those locked moment perspective for 3D cameras, you have the ability to go into the first person and look around, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and the first game did not have a first person mode. That was a new addition to MGS2. No, shut up.
You fucking
You dirty rat!
You dirty son of a bitch. Why the fuck would you do that to me?
Okay, so then let's damn.
Nothing?
Yeah, nothing here.
Oh, hey, boys. You know, just doing the thing. Just running back and forth between these two fights.
Right. I should be tracking them, but I'm being dumb. Oh,
Sir, stop what you were doing at once.
luckily I have. Yep. Okay. Cool.
Excellent.
I forget how to like. Quick fire on dudes. Okay. What a mess. Some secret agent I am.
Top secret agents. Yeah, Barney.
Right, this door does not work. Luckily, I can stick to the wall here. Yeah. Cool. Cover fire. Nice. That dude's gonna wake up and it might reset the stealth. We'll see. I'm getting re-familiar with like the boundaries and tensions and like what's acceptable with these guards. You have to be a sneaky boy.
Oh.
But I think we'll meditate on that with some tea and
Yeah. Ready in just a moment.
oh, there's another lady. Is that the same lady?
Same lady.
On a different body?
No, we should do more research into it though.
Soldiers, you know?
Yep, we just gotta look into this stuff. Just to be sure.
I like that you brought up the adventure feel of it, because like we're bringing up how unrealistic this is as like actual stealth, but like it's more about the game directing you to feel like the stealthy dude, even though I'm in very limited, like narrow hallways and stuff.
You're in. There's 6 closets. Like it's like if we're playing like hide and seek in the real world, you're like, well, you're in that one. I can see your eyes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But I do like these camera shifts. This reminded me too of I just saw the animation the other day on Twitter. I'll have to find it, but it was like a Russian movie from the 70s. That it was all one long take, and the camera's just constantly.
Is it Russian
moving.
Ark?
I don't know, maybe. I'll have to look and find, but it was beautiful from what I was seeing. But it's just one long extended take that just goes into different scenes by moving up and down, left and right, and like forward, backward. It was really cool. Nice.
Yeah, headshots are guaranteed.
Go to sleep.
Shit. No, don't you radio shit.
You dumb fuck, don't you fucking touch it. I'll punch you in the ass. Nothing, dog. Everything's cool over here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No. Bro, everything's fine under this table.
Does this work? Does this work?
Yeah, man, I'm impressed there's an animation for stepping over bodies to clean the locker room. I also. Yeah, but testing the bullet resistance of Snake's face.
Yes, the situation is normal.
Very normal. Let's see. Zoom in on the poster and call Otacon, like squat it and zoom in. And Marines have started a fan club for this one lady. Bam! Get that bitch. The people like craning their heads when they smack against the wall is fucking sending me. The camera shifts are very dramatic, but it looks maddening to play. I can see that.
Oh fuck, actually.
It's all good.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
All right. I want to go this way.
Just a bunch of sleepy boys. You're the Dreamweaver, giving everyone the or the Sandman. Whoa, why is that dude smelly?
Freeze. No.
Oh yeah, you can hold dudes hostage.
But what's up with this smelly man?
Yeah, he's just smelly. Okay, I need a USP. How do
He's
I get a
like-
USP?
Or he's dirty like Linus? Like, what's happening?
Right.
Jari crawling under the table and putting your hands over your eyes.
Yeah. They can't see me.
Even better, find a bedsheet to throw over your head.
Okay, I forget, if I hold them hostage, I think I can shake them down. I think I just have to keep my gun to the back of their head. Okay, it's nap time in the lobby, got it. Like, another neat detail people would freak out about is, like, the ice cubes here. Yeah, like, you can shoot them, and then they drop, and then they melt. Okay, but the dudes do wake up eventually. But yeah, look at, like, yeah.
What's
Like,
that?
wow, you can shoot the ice cubes.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was like a big technical demo of just like what the PS2 could do as well. It was like there to sell the console. It was the Last of Us of its time.
Hell yeah.
Got some stun grenades.
Let's see, is that Johnny? He's a guy that I think is in every MGS game.
I think that is Johnny, yeah. I need to actually, I'm gonna use the hostage feature, Kirsten, because like I forgot it's a thing and I always underutilized it. Look at that male gaze.
Oh, yeah. Look at the cheeks on this boy. Ooh, Barney.
How do I get up on top? I forget. Okay. I need to get the USP. I don't know what that is, but I assume it's somewhere in the engine room. Because if I remember right, the boss I'm looking for to end the first part of this game is, if I go up to the bridge, there's a boss, but I kind of want to lick corners, get reacquainted with the controls, pick up extra gear. Really lick the flavors. Because again, this section of the game was designed both to sell the game, to sell the PS2, and it's just like, it's like a James Bond movie in the way it's like, this is what the technology at the time was doing for the dominant, like, patriarchal kind of, you know, power fantasy, masculine idea of like service to nation and...
Yeah, bro, we gotta be cool spies to kill people, but for the country, you know?
I forget, do I need, like...
Just boys being boys. See you later, Phil, man. Thanks for hanging out for a bit.
I think it might be 3 where you shake him down for stuff. I think the hostage thing just helps you catch him off guard. Okay. Anyways.
Nice. Man, I forget the name. Do you remember the, like, Nintendo Wii game? It was, like, Red Steel?
I think
Yeah,
it was
but,
Red Steel. Or are you talking about the game with the katana?
Yes, yeah. And,
that
like,
was
you could,
Red
like,
Steel.
answer the phone. And what was promised was going to
I
be
never
real
played
fun.
it, honestly.
Oh, man, it was, like, one of my first, I bought the Wii first day. I'm playing some Red Steel all the time. It was alright. But they had the thing where you could, like, hold people hostage and get them to, like, lower the rest of their weapons so you could take out a whole group of people just by hostage negotiation. I was like, that was pretty sick, but it was pretty poorly managed.
I need to see, once I take him hostage, I think I can, like, choke him out. I just don't remember what the grab is. I think I have to take off my weapon and just hit square, I think. I can also move bodies. Yeah. Because I'm supposed to hide bodies so that they don't get spotted.
Oh, gotcha.
That's something this started that I think Splinter Cell 1 is a really good, like, if you play Metal Gear Solid 2 and then Splinter Cell and then Metal Gear Solid 3, it's a nice...
The progression.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, so you can shake them down when you do that too, and they drop shit if they have anything on them. So you can shake dudes down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Not a realistic pat down, but like, you know, you just grab the body, you do the thing. There's a nice little, when you grab them, it does feel nice because there's like a little vibration with the controller. It's that haptic feel. It's the minigun from Death Stranding 2. It's Kojima, again, like, I don't think he has anything interesting to say about this like decade of Bruckheimer bangers. He just wants to make you feel like a hero in a Bruckheimer banger.
Which, great job.
I'm not gonna totally discount and say he has nothing to say. I think he has a lot to say that's very actually like agreeable, but also marred and limited by like his conception of like the neoliberal individual as like hero or exceptional like answer to the problem.
A man was asking if there's a grapple to interrogate.
A grapple to interrogate? Maybe. I'll see if something pops up from that. Because I'm maybe thinking of 3 where you just hold the gun and eventually he like starts shaking him down. Metal Gear Solid 3 really expanded like the close quarters combat stuff.
Hell yeah.
It also really utilized, like, the PlayStation 2 had, like, pressure-sensitive buttons, but nothing really used them except that game, from what I can think of.
Man, that's so frustrating. Because that could be used for so many cool things.
Yeah.
See, and I was skeptical of, like, the PlayStation 5 controllers, but then, like, you have one, like, the Spider-Man game alone was like, oh, this haptic feedback feels so cool. You actually do stuff with it. It's real rad.
Man, I thought the USP might be down here, but I might just be naive. Oh, cool. I should have tried grabbing that guy with the square button. Okay. He just drops. Can I get the USP off of you if I shake your body down? No, okay. Alright, we will get on with it. Alright, let's try grabbing this guy. Oh, damn. Okay, that was the right button though. Yeah, you're not making that call, buddy. Oh, damn it. I'm out.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. We'll return to position following patrol of the small room on the port side.
Funny. Yeah.
Nope.
Send the replacement guard for
Oh, damn it. No. You didn't see me. This was November 2001. Wonder if I had recovered from the sad end of the Dreamcast. Yeah, it was on its way out at that point, wasn't it? Even though it had some quality games. I'm so disinvested from Microsoft as an entity. I don't feel really like there's anything I'm following that's like Xbox related.
Yeah, truly.
All right.
Snake, wait! Don't move!
I see it. Some kind of device on both sides of the hall. Infrared sensors?
Right, and they're linked to...
Let me guess. Semtex.
Exactly. Plastic explosives. If you trip the sensors...
I'll be sleeping with the fishes, along with this entire ship.
That sounds about right.
I'm not in the mood to go sleep with the fishes, but there are too many sensors. Looks like I'll have to find another way.
No need to worry. There's a way through. Take a close look. Do you see the thing with blinking green lights right next to the explosives? That's the control unit for the sensors. Destroy that, and the sensors stop functioning. You can't get in close enough to touch it, so you'll have to shoot it out. But your M9's knockout rounds won't work. Find a gun somewhere.
Oh yeah, I can use the sticks during the conversation to move their faces. Purely there to keep you entertained, because Kojima is doing the Orson Welles thing of throwing the parrot in there. Just like, yeah, I know you're bored for this. Here's something to fun with.
Okay.
Alright. So we need the USP first. Let's see if we can... Mint Linux. Okay, dumbass fell down the stairs is what we can say.
Beautiful.
No, you're not. You don't know what's going on. You're on drugs. You should not come to work on drugs like you've been coming to work on drugs.
Yeah, don't do that.
But you don't go to work on drugs. Okay, so I want to go that way. Maybe this way. Okay, I can... Oh. No, you don't. Nothing. You didn't cite nothing. Uh-oh. There we go. Nap time, buddy.
Okay. Last time I cared was the new flight simulator. Ooh, yeah, I do kind of want to play the new flight simulator. I heard that's going to PS5 too. We're seeing more people switch to Mint Linux. I've also seen that and heard a lot of good things. And
What's Mint Linux?
just a version of Linux that's really pretty straightforward. If I am remembering the right one, it's like pretty similar to just like how Windows like kind of feels in operation to a degree.
Gotcha, so it's an easy transition point.
Yeah. Yeah, all the age verification shit is bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw
fuck
that there was
all
some,
the-
like, California enacted something for, like, does Steam have to comply with? Or?
Yeah, they're trying to get it to do it for Linux having to have it as well. It's like, dude, no, like,
So I can go into this little...
I'm allowed to use my computer. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
fucking age I am. Like, it's my computer.
Don't let them turn it into, like, a rent your hardware economy.
Dog,
I really
absolutely
hate that it's
not.
going that way.
Absolutely
I
not.
need to buy another hard drive to continue doing editing work, and I hate just,
Yeah. I got it. Although I did get a Blu-ray burner so I can start burning physical media and like saving physical discs and projects. Realize they make 128 gigabyte discs now, so technically you
Nice.
could burn like a whole SD card.
could I just get...
Have a physical backup.
Yeah, so look at this, Jacob.
And got, yes! I do remember reading a while ago that like a team of like Marines were up against an AI. They were doing AI training for like security measures, so they were like trying to get past this camera. And one of the Marines did this, used a box to get past the AI, and it absolutely worked because it's looking for people, not not boxes. Like hell yeah. Yeah, age verify the embedded OS in this toaster. Dude, fuck yeah! I got my old 2008 laptop. We can run like an was it a separate LLM on it now?
Oh, damn.
Like running on this old shitty 2008 Mac, like let's do it.
No, it's not. Oh, look at that too. The smashing on the shelves.
Yeah. Oh, totally gyrate. Definitely an ongoing process. This is more of like, I have all the raw footage of all the projects I've worked on in the past like decade, like 10, 15 years. So just being able to have a physical version of the final projects to somewhere is what I want.
Oh shit.
Also, burning a DVD the other day was pretty gratifying. It's been like 20 years since I've done that.
Snake, are you bleeding? If your life gauge is down to the point where it's red, the bleeding won't stop. As long as you're bleeding, your life gauge will keep dropping gradually. Besides that, the bloodstains could put the enemy on your trail.
Smart.
The only way to stop the bleeding is to let your body recover until the life gauge is green. Rations are the best way to do that. Try to crouch down.
I don't think I'm bleeding though, because, well, I did take a ration. Oh, don't you fucking dare.
Bro, don't you fucking do it. Nice, kick his ass in there. Nice. I'm gonna shoot in his mouth. That's right, take a nap. Get shot in the head with a dart.
I guess I could hide maybe over in
Deck D. You know what's up with Deck D.
Alright.
Buddy, where you going? Why?
This is also before they figured out like the twin stick shooter kind of Halo first person controls. Again, this wasn't made as a first person shooter, even if it's a gun centric game.
Yeah.
Like dual analog sticks weren't quite the norm yet.
What are you doing over here, Poutin? What are you doing over here, Poutin, huh? Yeah. Hell yeah, shoot him in the head.
Okay, but I still need a super powerful weapon. Or the stronger gun for disabling the things. Unless I picked one up? No, I just have my M9, right? Oh? Okay. Okay. We did it, Jacob. We solved the navigational puzzle.
Fuck yeah. This time was GTA 3 for me. Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is GTA 3. Really just cemented the PlayStation 2 as like the cool kid thing, you know?
Dude, it really was. Especially also like, you know,
You could
Blu-ray
shoot
player.
cops. There's ladies you could pick up and put in your car.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
So it is the Kasaka.
But notice, how romantic this game is in just the cartoonish goofiness of its military seriousness.
Oh yes, with these tubes. Look at these big, strong boys. You're so handsome and hot.
It's kind of how stuff ages into camp, although,
Yeah.
Dark and wet and handsome and hot.
Ooh, I'm going under because I forgot to plug things in. Whoa.
Snake, did you find out where that ship is headed?
Looking at it. 35 degrees longitude.
Oh,
Latitude around 58.
More than 500 miles off the coast of the Bermudas, out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the prototype is ready for solo testing. It's basically combat worthy. That area is outside the Second Fleet's operational range, too. It must be a standalone Marine Corps project, which means this prototype Metal Gear must be designed for independent deployment, without any naval assistance. Anyway, analysis can wait till later. Snake, you need to go down to the holds and locate the actual metal...
Yeah.
Oh man, look at all this slaughtered crew. And you get the USP. I think it's time I get the USP. So that ends kind of the demo area that was on that disc. That just, that little slice of like, hey, explore the ship, interact with the troops, here's a few little loops.
Like you liking the vibes.
It's amazing how that felt big for 2001 compared to what's big in a video game now.
Yeah, right.
Entry and exit points to the tanker hold secure. Infrared sensors placed and operational.
Good work. Are the explosives in place?
Yes, they are all planted.
Listen, once we have what we came for, the tanker will be scuttled.
And the vehicle's pilot.
He's the only one who underwent the VR training. No one else can do it.
Are you sure you can trust him?
Damn, VR training all the way back then.
Yeah.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm. Pale as
Seth, I have a bad feeling about this mission.
you swore this to me that you would leave the unit once the mission was complete.
Do not worry, this is a country of liberty.
No, this is where I belong, with the unit. I have nowhere else to go. I want to stay and fight.
There is no choice to make here, Olga. Neither
Yeah,
am I
Olga.
that you are carrying my grandchild.
You will be on the helicopter out of here.
You are carrying my grandchild.
Yeah.
What an interesting, Sure, buddy.
Okay, Dad.
That is your real name.
But that quickly and effectively sets this character up for what's about to happen.
Freeze!
Strategic suspenders, yes.
Damn.
Toss your gun overboard, slowly.
Now shake that ass. Please.
I mean, that's what Snake's been doing this whole mission.
Show your
A
face.
woman.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
There we are. Every single one of us.
The exact same dude.
Same
Just like
person.
Alex Garland's hit film. Unanimously loved by all. Man.
Not creepy at all. No horrifying.
Yeah, you're not an American. You're just a soldier guy. That is worth noting with Solid Snake as a character. Is like, for all the Americanisms,
Thought she has armpit hair. This is a very woke game.
it's great.
They're like, she is strong. but
No,
she
Jacob, this
also is
game's
arbitrary."
warning us about woke, as you will come to learn. Metal Gear Solid's right wing, actually.
So you'll see only Russian men handle female body hair correctly in Tunisia.
It stopped raining.
Nice.
Not too shabby, is it? New York, I mean.
Nice, Captain Quasar.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice, Captain Quasar. Yeah, dude. The Matrix, you know?
And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise.
That's like Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.
No one's ever dodged that shot of mine.
These
No one
angles,
gets
too.
lucky twice either.
And we are slingshot into a boss fight. Yeah, it is. My M9 bullets are full.
I've been with the unit since I was born. I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents. The unit is my life, my family. We've shared everything, all the bad and all the good. I have no one, nothing
I think I
against the
can-
unit. Nothing
Yeah,
else matters to me.
yeah. Whoop. Dang, she's hitting me.
Hit it from the back, Henry, quick.
Whoever you are, you're not stopping us.
There we go. Yeah. Now she can't cover. I think the boss was part of the demo too, but like, as I just showed, but like, I shot out the light and the blankets and stuff, that's another one that was just like, look, the environment.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm messing up, I need inversion.
The only true way to play with the game.
Also, I'm shooting her, but if you notice, her health bar is not going down, her stamina bar is going down because I'm using tranks. But also, that means she, you know, doesn't die. There's actually a challenge mode of the game where you play without killing anyone, like you do it all by stamina takedowns.
Sick.
Yeah, Captain Quasar threw me through a loop because I'm an inverted first-person guy, and there's no changing it here as far as I saw. Maybe I can do it like the PS3 system settings? I don't think so, though. And it's not like he's so insecure he has to write lines into every scene. Like, there's moments of silence like this where it's like, yeah, good call.
Yeah. That's cool as hell. The drone.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, this was very predictive of that.
Cypher.
Look at me, I'm falling into the suckering of like it
This ship
predicted
appears to
things.
be under their control. The men have Russian gear, but I
The
haven't
truth
been able
is,
to find out anything else about their origin.
this is all pastiche. I'll talk about that more when we come back from
ID
break.
the old man,
Who is he?
Sergei Gerlukovich.
One
Gerlukovich.
of Ocelot's allies.
What in the fuck?
What's a Gerlukovich?
Yeah, the GRU colonel. He's the one Ocelot was supposed to meet up with after Shadow Moses.
They're after Metal Gear.
Everything's changed. This is not going to be as simple as we thought.
You could say that. I saw a surveillance remote just now. It looked like the Cypher.
A Marine Cypher T?
No, Army.
First the Marines, then the Russians, now the Army?
You're right. This isn't gonna be simple.
I thought we were just doing a simple reconnaissance mission. It turns out all the military forces from everywhere are in on this gangbang. Oh shit!
Oh.
Not like usual.
How did you find out then?
It was a tip. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous? You've never trusted those. Why would you start now?
I have a younger sister, a stepsister. We have different parents. I only knew her for 2 years.
That's how that goes.
You've never mentioned her before. So,
The sender of the tip was E.E.
E.E.
Her name is Emma, but I always call her E.E.
Emma? Emma
just caught my eye, you know? I figured it was a coincidence, but I couldn't get it out of my mind.
A lost decade of shooting from behind crates.
When was the last time you saw her?
Over 10 years ago.
You think it's a trap to lure us out here?
I don't know. After I got the tip, I did break into the Pentagon system to get confirmation.
Thank you, Otacon. Thank you for hacking into the Pentagon.
Yeah, we really do.
Screwed up.
I've got a light-equipped USP. I can take them on now. There's no ammo, but it takes a 9mm, just like the Marines M9. I'll find those somewhere. around
Cool,
here.
so I got a gun
He's too
now.
much racket with
Sick.
I
We
hear
can
you.
fucking kill people.
I'm gonna use it, yeah, you gotta use it to disable the little traps to get to the lower level, but yeah, you can also use it to murder people. Olga gets to live to fight another day. She becomes an integral character to the overall franchise lore. Also, I mean, she has a baby. Solid Snake's an asshole, but you don't want to kill a lady with a baby.
It's true. You don't want to be that asshole.
You got her cool gun, too. Is there anything out and around here? Oh, shit. There's a dude. All right, we're gonna do some corner licking up here real quick. We're gonna go on break in a moment, folks.
Love those rain effects.
Yeah, also just the sound design.
Yeah.
Because I think Grand Theft Auto 3 to me is a bigger world, but it's a bit more barren. Whereas like, since this is micro-focused on a boat, it's really able to crank up like the curated. Oh, thermal goggles, nice. Shit. Cool. Check that out.
Tight. That's so cool.
It's good help for sniping. I'm gonna get off at this level before this guy sees me. Is it possible to shoot him? Yeah, look at the lights off in the background there.
That's so cool.
I was told about ledge grabs, but I forget how to execute them. Dang. You don't need anything. I'm just not graceful enough at like after throwing equipping my trank gun and holding him hostage really quick. I keep trying to go into first person mode, but like it's not Resident Evil, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like I can just oop shit.
Shit, this asshole. Like, sir, no.
Captain Quasar, if you have any hot gameplay tips, let me know. Cool, I got a wet box.
Bernie, stop.
Press against the railing and push the action button? Okay, I'll remember that for suspending. I remember in the tanker chapter where they explicitly tell you to do it, but I forgot how to do the technique if I wanted to do it early. We're gonna pause here for right now. We're on the navigational deck wing. We just tranked Olga, took her gun, and now we're heading to the bottom of this tanker to get to the bottom of this Metal Gear mystery. This is such a truncated, compressed, and hyper-fast version of Metal Gear Solid 1 story in a way. That in Metal Gear Solid 1, Jacob, you were infiltrating an Alaska base where terrorists are holding the world hostage with a walking tank called a Metal Gear, which is what the whole tanks.
Oh, gotcha. Those one with those sexy legs.
Yeah. The walking tanks, the ones you're going to do things to.
Yeah, give me those dirty techno thoughts.
All right, all our techno thoughties and hotties. We'll be right back. Stand up, stretch, smoking if you got them, rehydrate, and let me see. I think we can clear. I think we can clear the first big part of this game and get to like the plot twist. If not to the plot twist, to the end of this particular chapter by the end of the night. We'll be back soon. See you then. Yeah. All right, we are hot.
Yeah, we are.
We're
so
back.
hot. And so are you, folks.
You know what?
Little techno hotties and thotties.
I almost completely forgot. You know what, folks? We were staring at Solid Snake's ass. We were really getting into the stealth mechanics of the game. I'm really itching to get back in there and do the ledge hang Captain Quasar was advising me on, but we're going back to class for a moment. We're going to read some of Jameson because we're moving on. In the first half of this show, I read 3 poems by William Butler Yeats, kind of documenting his transition from Romanticism into Modernism, kind of talking about how he went from, this earnest romantic who believed in kind of the sacredness of things and just going with it into like this skeptical cynic of where industrialization and its tools were leading things and how politics for the Irish people wasn't working out. And so there was a sense of that romance lost and a need to renegotiate and reacquaint ourselves with it. That's sort of what the modernist movement at large was. It was a reconciliation of earlier romantic ideals of the divine and the sublime in nature, etc. Being renegotiated with the technological horrors we were speeding towards with World War I. And you can see, like, through this act of skepticism and navigating and negotiating, just trying to figure out, well, like, what is sacred? Again, this is what Yeats's career is. He starts very whimsical, he becomes very cynical. By the end of it, he's turned into something very unique, sublime. He's traversed the gap and bridged it and really carved a path that there's a reason he's kind of at the forefront as far as like the movement goes. There's a reason I picked him, not just because he's like a good poet, but for the idea in general. He aestheticizes it into something very legible, where I could give you 3 poems for 3 periods in time, and it kind of shows you the growth, and you can then kind of like take that poetic idea and see it at play in movies and in literature, in art, architecture. Anyways, that's all fair and well and about modernism, but let's talk about postmodernism, which is what we really want to get into, which is why we're here with Metal Gear Solid 2, which is why everything is awful according to some folks on the internet. But this is, okay, just to also give you a heads up, all the poems we read, as well as the Jameson essay, I pinned it, it's in the chat, there's a bunch of links. These are all pretty short things. They're all very digestible. I highly suggest looking into and reading them. I think we're gonna probably take a day or two to look at some of these Jameson quotes. I have a lot I excised and wanted to discuss and dissect with the essay, and I might do that in 2 parts because there's a bit. Yeah, I'll read this first batch. The concept of postmodernism is not widely accepted or even understood today. Some of the resistance to it may come from the unfamiliarity of the works it covers, which can be found in all the arts. The poetry of John Ashbery, for instance, as well as the much simpler talk poetry that came out of the reaction against complex, ironic, academic modernist poetry in the 1960s. That's something to keep in mind with Yeats. That last poem is very much operating on a self-awareness and a sense of irony, but it's not irony without point. It's not a hollow sense of sarcasm. It's a very pointed and bitter critique of like the fetishization of war. But it's likening it to a woman the dude can't resist chasing. That was the poem Politics. But yeah, so there's that sense of irony, but then we get into postmodernism, the reaction against modern architecture, and in particularly against the monumental buildings of the international style, the pop buildings and decorated sheds celebrated by Robert Venturi in his manifesto Learning from Las Vegas, Andy Warhol, pop art, and the more recent photorealism. In music, the moment of John Cage, but also the later synthesis of classic and popular styles found in composers like Philip Glass and Terry Wiley, and also punk in new wave rock, and with such groups as The Clash, Talking Heads, and the Gang of Four. In film, everything that comes out of Godard, contemporary vanguard film and video, as well as a whole new style of commercial or fiction films, which has its equivalent in contemporary novels, where the works of William Burroughs, Thomas Pynchon, and Ismail Reed are on the one hand, and the French New Novel on the other, are also numbered among the varieties of what we can call postmodernism. There's a lot that you can call postmodernism all over the place, as he's pointing out here. The punk music, Andy Warhol, pop art, comic books in this sense.
Yeah, you're fine, Bernie.
This is from the section titled Pastiche Eclipses Parody. One of the most significant features or practices in postmodernism today is pastiche. I must first explain this term from the language of the visual arts, which people generally tend to confuse with or assimilate to that related verbal phenomenon called parody. Both pastiche and parody involve the imitation, or better still, the mimicry of other styles, and particularly of the mannerisms and stylistic twitches of other styles. It is obvious that modern literature in general offers a very rich field for parody, since the great modern writers have all been defined by the invention or production of rather unique styles. Think of the Faulknerian long sentence, or of D.H. Lawrence's characteristic nature imagery. Think of Wallace Stevenson's peculiar way of using abstractions. Think also of mannerisms of the philosophers, of Heidegger, for example, of Sartre. Think of the musical styles of Mahler or Prokofiev. Of all the styles, however, different from one another, are all comparable in this. Each is quite unmistakable. Once one from them is learned, it is not likely to be confused with something else. Yeats has his own style. Yeats is violently and explicitly tied to his personal sense of voice and his personal growth as a person. Like, in some ways, it presages like David Bowie in my mind, as far as like person as project, with like what Yeats wanted to do with the English language and his conception of like Irish heritage and like its place on the national level. I say that in the way that Yeats had a control over his sense of persona in the same way David Bowie does. Not really the Irish stuff. Bowie wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
But yeah, so there's that feature of modernism where there's like a great sense of voice, and then from that in postmodernism you get parody, in which there's mimicry, there's inversion, there's play off of, there's reference to the initial voice. This is kind of what we've been doing when we bring up Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay, all the stuff. This is stitching together, you could say. Is this parody or is this pastiche? Well, let's keep reading to clarify. Now, parody capitalizes on the uniqueness of these styles and seizes on their idiosyncrasies and eccentricities to produce an imitation which mocks the original. I won't say that the satiric impulse is conscious in all forms of parody. In any case, a good or great parodist has to have some secret sympathy for the original, just as a great mimic has to have the capacity to put himself or herself in the place of the person imitated. Still, the general effect of parody is, whether with sympathy or in malice, to cast ridicule on the private nature of these stylistic mannerisms and their excessiveness and eccentricity with respect to the way people normally speak or write. So there remains somewhere behind all parody the feeling that there is a linguistic norm in contrast to which the styles of the great modernist can be mocked. So this is like our issue with comedy right now, but parody assumes there is a norm in which you're mocking something, you're pointing out how it's different or distant from a norm. You're kind of reinserting a value through bullying in a way. And this is where we can start looking at Metal Gear Solid 2 as maybe not parody, but maybe more as pastiche. I don't think Kojima was saying fuck you to Blockbuster Cinema with his big Blockbuster game project. I think he was aping what he thinks was great and worked with it, if that makes sense. As far as we can start drawing that difference between what a parody is versus a pastiche. Homage, the earnesty of it.
Homage.
again, though, like if you're parodying something, if you're mocking something, if you're joking about something, you are making assumptions about like a baseline normal from which like you can all jump off the cliff and laugh from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like there has to be a baseline in order for it to be understood. Like where is the comedy, or what is the critique thereof? You know?
But what would happen if one no longer believed in the existence of normal language, of ordinary speech, of the linguistic norm, the kind of clarity and communicative power celebrated by Orwell in his famous essay Politics in the English Language, say? One could think of it in this way. Perhaps the immense fragmentation and privatization of modern literature, its explosion into a host of distinct private styles and mannerisms, foreshadows deeper and more general tendencies in social life as a whole. Supposing that modern art and modernism, far from being a kind of specialized aesthetic curiosity, actually anticipated social developments along these lines. Supposing that in the decades since the emergence of the great modern styles, society had itself begun to fragment in this way, each group coming to speak a curious private language of its own, each profession developing its private code or dialect, and finally, each individual coming to be a kind of linguistic island, separated from everyone else. But then in that case, the very possibility of any linguistic norm in terms of which one could ridicule private languages and idiosyncratic styles would vanish, and we would have nothing but stylistic diversity and heterogeneity. Yeah, what happens when the norm disappears and you can't even really make a joke? Not in a like you're scared of woke can't make a joke way. It's just like no one gets your sarcasm because nobody knows what you're being sarcastic about, because there's no sense of like, well, should I be feeling shameful about this? Should this be taken seriously?
Where do I go with this new information or feelings?
Yeah. That is the moment at which pastiche appears and parody has become impossible. Parody becomes impossible because we've shifted beyond or lost this sense of like a macro language, or as some might say, a consensus reality. This is kind of I think where the alienation starts slipping in, and why people start getting uneasy about the idea of postmodernism. And if they're thinking of very binary terms, they think of postmodernism as just like anti-modernism or an attack on modernism, and their idea of modernism isn't even what we've been talking about with Yeats negotiating the spiritual and the material. It's more like modernisms in the 1950s, modernisms when things were traditional. It's a whole, again, the loss of a macro narrative of a shared language, of everybody becoming their own linguistic island, leads to this point where it's like, well, like, you can't even joke it like... Think of how RFK Jr. is a character.
Yeah.
Like, right, like that dude should not, like, by all, like, you know, modernist mid-century, like, mores and standards, somebody should have, like, that the center cannot hold. We're falling away from the center. Like, we need to contain that. We need to deal with that. Whereas, I don't know, it's just existing now.
Yeah, it just is.
Jari, I honestly forget how to even really get the dog tags. Do I have to keep shaking them until they drop them? I never was a dog tag collector in the Metal Gear games. Captain Quasar, I'm going to check what you're saying real quick, and then I'm going to get back to this Jameson.
God, here's a thought I've had. Is parody and overall satire not as effective as people think? I've been thinking about it as a cause. A lot of times people say we're making fun of this, but usually it's misrepresented or misinterpreted in a way.
Yes, Captain Quasar. For that first part where it's like, is parody and overall satire not as effective as people think? This is what Jameson's talking about in this essay when he talks about that's the point where parody becomes impossible because of like the linguistic islands. This is what points, I don't know, in my general idea of everything, I think this is why I'm so pro-education, because the one thing you have to do is perpetuate like what is known, or else you get stuck in a schizophrenic mode, as Jameson says later in this essay. I'm going to keep reading about it, but actually that was the answer to Captain Quasar's first big message. Let me see what that second one is.
Yeah, whatever intention that creator put behind that thing, like, I think a sincere approach to shit has an immediate impact that is positive towards what it is advocating versus satire parody. That canon is often misinterpreted. It's like the Archie Bunker effect. He's supposed to be laughing at it, but his racism, that you get the joke, and it was intentional by the writers and the show to have the laugh track play every time he said something racist. Think of it
Right.
That way a lot of shit. Yeah.
And like to understand satire, like even with stuff I love, like American Psycho, like you do need the key to understand it. You do need to understand the interpretive lens. You do need to kind of have a general idea of like the context when it's created as a postmodern object.
It becomes lost in translation.
Yeah, and that is again why so much of my stuff goes like, no, the key underlying issue with a lot of stuff politically, socially is just education and keeping knowledge proliferated and understood, so that we. I'm not even talking in like everybody go to college or get a post-grad, etc. So just like the way we maintain consensus knowledge and consensus reality, and like don't go insane sitting around each other.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also something when it comes to like educating people on like leftism.
We can't do that. They'll trans the kids. Wait, that was Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, and then I read that part.
We're gonna move over to a red tee is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, Captain Quasar, I think you really love the Jameson essay. It's like a 12-page essay. It's pretty short. Also, Frederick Jameson, he also wrote a book called Archaeologies of the Future, which is another collection of essays that came out, I want to say in 2004, 2005, so about 20 years after this essay. And he writes a lot about like concepts like utopia and the way we imagine things through science fiction. He updates some of the ideas he presents here. I'm curious to get around to that one. Depending on how this block goes, we'll see. But we have other books on call as well. We're going to be reading The Journal Zapped and Angel by Howard Fast, and the Fort Bragg Cartel by Seth Harp for those playing along at home.
Hell yeah. I'm excited.
All right, I got a little bit more to read, and then we'll get back to the Metal Gear Solid. But the death of the subject. But now we need to introduce a new piece into this puzzle, which may help to explain why classical modernism is a thing of the past, and why postmodernism should have taken its place. The new component is what's generally called the death of the subject, or to say it in a more conventional language, the end of individualism as such. The great modernisms were, as we have said, predicated on the invention of personal, private style, as unmistakable as your fingerprint, as incomparable as your own body. But this means that the modernist aesthetic is in some way organically linked to a conception of a unique self and private identity, a unique personality and individuality, which can be expected to generate its own unique vision of the world and to forge its own unique, unmistakable style. I also think, even if it's not parody, in the modernist sense, to have a unique style, there needs to be like a critical consensus on what is style. And like to define style, you do need some baseline norms and standards of prose. That's another issue with this like consensus crash. There was such a thing as individualism, as individual subjects. But today, in the age of corporate capitalism, the so-called organization man of bureaucracies and businesses, as well as in the state of demographic explosion, today that older bourgeois individual subject no longer exists. This is a general kind of gist of like the death of individualism he's talking about under the postmodern mode. The idea that like the individual subject is no longer a force. We have been subsumed to corporate systems and other larger macro systems of power. And this is where like it gets into more hair splitting with concepts like post-structuralism. I don't know how much I buy into post-structuralism, but let me put it this way. If postmodernists believe like at some point there was an individual, but then the individual has been eclipsed by, say, the corporate entity, there no longer is an effective means for like exceptional individuals to really direct or move societies. We're all reacting to like systems of economic and industrial force. There's a romance of the individual still present in that. There's something called post-structuralism that posits basically like, no, there was never an individual to think of. And this is something I go back and forth on, because like, I do think I romanticize like individual artists and auteurs, but I do have to remember like they were reacting to and growing up in like a historical, like that there were things happening around them, like they were reacting to things. Again, like for Yeats's poetry to be what it was, he did have to live his life and go through what the Irish were going through in the late 1800s and react to that and then make the poetry after that. So, you know, it's not like he was an individual dictating those things. He was a subject reporting his experiences within a larger intersecting system of shit. Considering this is postmodernism, like looking into this decentralizing of self is postmodernism, more so than oh, they gender swapped my favorite comic book character, or like, oh no, there's mixed race couples in this TV commercial. This is what I would get at. This is kind of the step from modernism into postmodernism. This is why I read The Second Coming, because if Yeats is saying the sinner cannot hold and we have to mind the gyre, postmodernism is like, but is that the sinner? What is the sinner? Is the sinner worth maintaining? Like, by which way are we measuring where the sinner is, what the sinner is? Keep in mind, though, this doesn't mean fuck the sinner, or this isn't an anti-social project. It's about reevaluating social systems that weren't working. If it took a lot of horrible imperial shit and World War I to sort of disenchant us of romanticism into modernism, modernism really hits the fucking wall when the nuke goes off and World War II happens, and we're just not sure existentially afterwards. Like, we can eliminate ourselves from this planet genuinely. This isn't like we're possibly stronger than God if God exists at all. That question starts to creep in, and so we have to start examining, you know, are we enacting like the will of some divine being and it's righteous? Because if we're thinking like that and it leads us to this kind of destruction, maybe we need to reevaluate what like our conception of being and righteousness is. Yeah. You know, this is how postmodernism creeps in. This isn't some Marxist project to destroy the West or I don't know, make your favorite cartoon characters woke and fake and wrong. They're not trying to trans the kids. It's not an active project with an army. It's a descriptive means of interpreting and reacting and making sense of the context of what was happening at the time. And I don't know, are we moving forward through it? Are we still stuck in postmodern times? I think we're taking on features of a hypermodernist society. Let me just keep reading. I'm getting way all over the place here. This is just a quick rundown of post-structuralism. Yeah, Ja, what if there are many sinners? New bubbles form and pop. Decentralized action. What is history if not a plurality of occurrences? Postmodern times sounds like a 2000s medieval times.
Dude, fuck yeah.
You have to like, oh man, you have to do some real pastiche shit that's like very of the 90s and 2000s to like do orders. Yeah, like, yeah. Like very X Games themed.
Dude, rollerball. It's rollerball.
Yeah, it's that very like torque rollerball, like early Fast and the Furious. Yeah. Then there's the second position, the more radical of the two, what one might call the post-structuralist position. It adds, not only is the bourgeois individual subject a thing of the past, it is also a myth. It never really existed in the first place. There have never been autonomous subjects of that type. Rather, this construct is merely a philosophical and cultural mystification, which sought to persuade people that they had individual subjects and possessed some unique personal identity. And this is perhaps not merely a psychological matter. We also have to take into account the immense weight of 70 or 80 years of classical modernism itself. This is yet another sense in which the writers and artists of the present day will no longer be able to invent new styles and words. They've already been invented. Only a limited number of combinations are possible. The unique ones have now been thought out already. So the weight of the whole modernist aesthetic tradition, now dead, also weighs like a nightmare on the brain of the living, as Marx said in another context. Hence, once again, pastiche. In a world in which stylistic innovation is no longer possible, all that is left is to imitate dead styles, to speak through the masks and with the voices of the styles in the imaginary museum. But this means that contemporary or postmodernist art is going to be about art itself in a new kind of way. Even more, it means that one of its essential messages will involve the necessary failure of art and the aesthetic, the failure of the new, the imprisonment in the past. I have my reasons for thinking that we need new categories for such films, but let me first add some anomalies. Supposing I suggest that Star Wars is also a nostalgia film, what could that mean? I presume that we can agree that this is not a historical film about our own intergalactic past. Let me put it somewhat differently. One of the most important cultural experiences of the generations that grew up from the 1930s to the 1950s was the Saturday afternoon serial of the Buck Rogers type. Alien villains, true American heroes, heroines in distress, the Death Ray or the Doomsday Box or the Metal Gear, and with the cliffhanger at the end whose miraculous solution was to be witnessed next Saturday afternoon. Star Wars reinvents this experience in the form of pastiche. There is no point to a parody of such serials, since they are long extinct. Far from being a pointless satire of such dead forms, Star Wars satisfies a deep, might I even say repressed, longing to experience them again. It is a complex object in which, on some level, first children and adolescents can take the adventure straight, while the adult public is able to gratify a deeper, more properly nostalgic desire to return to the older period and to live its strange, old aesthetic artifacts through once again. This film is thus metonymically a historical nostalgia film. Unlike American Graffiti, it does not reinvent a picture of the past in its lived totality. Rather, by reinventing the feel of a shape of characteristic art objects of an older period, the serials, it seeks to reawaken a sense of past associated with those objects. Raiders of the Lost Ark, meanwhile, occupies an intermediary position here. On some level, it's about the 1930s and 1940s, but in reality, it too conveys a world that period metonomically through its own characteristic adventure stories, which are no longer ours. It's not, Star Wars is a comforting nostalgia film because you're aware it's supposed to be like old movies. This is sort of an emergent idea of postmodernism, or an emergent feature of it in our art, is like, we get so good at watching movies that we can start picking up on the language of like movies referencing other movies, video games referencing other movies. There's an awareness of the devices. If modernism was figuring out what those devices were and using them to like approach the divine or the sincere, postmodernism is much more about like what I was saying with those devices. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Modernism is about how those devices go from like an individual or personal like understanding on the creator's side to like the consumer understands what they're doing. The consumer understands pastiche. The consumer understands montage. You go on Reddit nowadays and you can find dudes grading, video games and books and movies with a spreadsheet where they're breaking down, you go on Letterboxd, you have your 5-star breakdown, you get to talk about like how much film school knowledge you have as far as interpreting theme and semiotic and placing all that in there. That is the postmodern exercise. We are aware that we are media consumers. It's kind of like trying to say you hate if you're the kind of like person to interpret postmodernism as a thing to be fought against, is rather it's something to be incorporated into like your understanding of navigating the now. That's very peasant brained. That's very monarchy brained. That's very still binary thinking, like good art infects bad art without considering the structure of art. It's very earnestly thinking like if TV says bad thing will happen. And it's like, well, no, TV's exercising fiction. It's not that. But I mean, even the way we talk like wokely about stuff when it comes to like reactionary takedowns, like The Critical Drinker, or who's that motherfucker that does like 9-hour videos of 2-hour movies, and it's just like, why are you watching kids movies to this extent? What are you doing with your content life, man? You can say you're like an anti-woke, trad, anti-postmodern, although last time I was in Babyland, someone was complaining about modernism being the thing that's like making things modern, like was misread as like making things contemporary, and they hated how like butch some comic book character was being made compared to like her Justice League counterpart from the mid-aughts, which extremely funny because you know the racist Nazi complaining about the superhero looking too butch and he wants it to look like Justice League Unlimited, and then you see that this guy's a white supremacist on his profile, and it's like, sir, do you know Dwayne McDuffie was a black man, and like your childhood nostalgia, if you're that invested in Justice League Unlimited, is hugely credited and owed to him, you fucking idiot. But, you know, everybody's on their own linguistic island as far as what these words mean now, and it's wonderful.
Isn't it great having no common language with people using the exact same words? Like, wow, this just means fucking nothing, doesn't it?
All of this puts us in the position of grasping schizophrenia as the breakdown of the relationship between signifiers. For Lacan, the experience of temporality, human time, past, present, memory, the persistence of personal identity over months and years, this existential or experiential feeling of time itself is also an effect of the language. It is because language has a past and a future, because the sentence moves in time, that we can have what seems to us a concrete or lived experience of time. But since the schizophrenic does not know language articulation in that way, he or she does not have our experience of temporal continuity either. But it is condemned to live in perpetual present, in which the various moments of his or her past have little connection or for which there is no conceivable future on the horizon. In other words, schizophrenic experience is an experience of isolated, disconnected, discontinuous material signifiers which fail to link up into a coherent sequence. The schizophrenic thus does not know personal identity in our sense, since our feeling of identity depends on our sense of persistence in the I and me over time. On the other hand, the schizophrenic will clearly have a far more intense experience of any given present than the world than we do, since our own present is always part of some larger set of projects which force us to selectively focus our perceptions. We do not, in other words, simply globally receive the outside world as an undifferentiated vision. We are always engaged in using it, in threading certain paths through it, and attending to this or that object or person within it. The schizophrenic, however, is not only no one in the sense of having no personal identity, he or she does nothing, since to have a project means to be able to commit oneself to a certain continuity over time. The schizophrenic is thus given over to an undifferentiated vision of the world in the present, by no means a pleasant experience. This is something I bring up with the exasperation at stuff like looks maxing right at the end of Death Stranding 2. The schizophrenic, as Jameson classifies them, and he goes into detail in a part of this essay saying, like, look, this isn't like psychological or like the actual clinical like schizophrenia definition. This is a thing I'm trying to classify in the abstract for this essay. But
yeah.
If you don't have a common set of language with other people and you don't have like a continuity of experiences, it becomes hard to perceive reality in a continuous sense. Everything can be novel or new or scary or exciting. This is kind of something I think is like an intentional feature of the fascism we're under now, where in order to make everything seem like an emergency and just to exhaust you, you know, everything's an immediacy. Everything's an immediate emergency. You are to be disenchanted from feeling active because everything's chaos all the time. It's meant to make you feel small. It's intentionally induced cultural schizophrenia.
Hell yeah.
And it's interesting because Jameson points out that like it's more intense than if you have a sense of history. But there's something to that.
Oh man, I definitely feel you with the preteen and the Christian subculture. I developed a determination that I wouldn't become detached from historical values, and this manifested in a pseudo-nostalgia for old things and the hope that it would connect me to something lasting and stable. I think that is happening a lot
That's what people need. I find that interesting about American culture in general. Is like once you graduate high school, and like even now, it's probably far more worse off as far as public education infrastructure goes than when we were kids. But like, you're just kind of left out in the wild. Like, you want to know why there's so many cults in America? It's like we have no general consensus culture or safety social net. And like we're primed to let snake oil salesmen and religious nuts just make pyramid schemes and run with it.
Right, we're 18, just dumped off in the woods, and you're just like, all right, sure, have fun.
Right?
It's being kicked from the nest.
I don't like to like romanticize or like make like gamer boy like hyperbole about it, but like I've heard other people make similar comparisons in places like LA or New York. I feel Austin is one of these spots where it's like Dark Souls. A lot of people come to these mega metropolis cities to be like in their individualist striver mindsets, celebrities, influencers. They go to the movie town to be in the movies. They go to the place to like,
I'm gonna be big.
Yeah, I'm gonna be big. And it very much is like you show up at a place like New York or Austin. I think about early 20s couch surfing stuff, and like it is like very dire in some ways. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm not of the privileged class in America, and this is going to be like a very weird thing. And then as your 20s progress and you see people who may or may not be interested in political theory or just economic theory, just seeing how people change over time and the weird ways they sometimes go crazy.
Yeah, man, just to adapt to like a preconceived hope that was just like, no, this is where my life was supposed to lead me, and I did all of the things. Even though there's thousands of stories of everyone telling me that this won't work out for people because, like, again, it's a numbers game, and like if you don't keep batting, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. That is also what makes Dark Souls so good, is it is channeling this postmodern idea of like, well, what is protagonism? It is questioning the centrality of that as an animating part of the narrative. All right, we got one more little paragraph from Jameson to get through, and then I think we're good. I know it's been a hefty one. We've been reading a lot in this back half, but we're gonna have to chew these ideas over some sessions. So
This is the kickoff to the spring.
I believe that the emergence of postmodernism is closely related to the emergence of this new moment of late consumer or multinational capitalism. I believe also that its formal features in many ways express the deeper logic of this particular social system. I will only be able, however, to show this for one major theme, namely the disappearance of a sense of history, the way in which our entire contemporary social system has little by little begun to lose its capacity to retain its own past. It's 2026, we're invading the Middle East, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are out. Huh.
Right. Born too late to invade the Middle East.
Born just in time to invade the Middle East. Oh my God! Why does time? That's the thing too. Is
Time's
like through this exasperated sense of like things just keep happening over and over again. Or if you don't have a sense of history, everything feels new all the time. You get away with this bullshit. It's not strange that things in the past were addressing these issues, because these issues spring from like human behavior and human nature and need to be mitigated and concerned and like we need to negotiate these things, and like if we just ignore them, it's just going to recur and recur and recur. And if you have no sense of history, you can just be told the recurrence is eternal and like essential and necessary, and it's like, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be. Is that true?
Namely, the disappearance of a sense of history, the way in which our entire contemporary social system has little by little begun to lose its capacity to retain its own past, has begun to live in a perpetual present, and in a perpetual change that obliterates traditions of the kind which all earlier social information have had, in one way or another, to preserve. Think only of the media exhaustion of news, of how Nixon, and even more so Kennedy, are figures from a now distant past. He's writing this in the 80s and talking about like how far away the 60s feels, how compartmentalized history feels even at that time.
Damn, yeah.
One is tempted to say that the very function of the news media is to relegate such recent historical experiences as rapidly as possible into the past. The informational function of the media would thus be to help us forget, to serve as the very agents and mechanisms of our historical amnesia. So, yeah, through this postmodern questioning of these media apparatuses, you start to identify this sense of historical amnesia, and Jameson's expressing like a sense that postmodernism is a reflection of like consumer culture and the way it hollows things out and the way it pastiche replaces the original and how that self-perpetuates. These are ideas I've kind of brought up before where it's like, well, yeah, if you keep things novel and things always feel new, it's easy to sell it as like the hot new thing, even if it's not the hot new thing. People are just dumb and forgot about the hot old thing.
Guys, gallons of milk, hot new thing. You go with the store.
Yeah, it's crucial to know Jameson's not saying like fuck postmodernism necessarily. He's looking at like in a Hegelian dialectic sense where you have to integrate it into like your observations and like use it to kind of grow and move forward. And I think if there's something Jameson identifies in postmodernism is that there is still an earnesty and a sense of voice to kind of what people permit themselves, like what do people surrender to in the pastiche is what I find interesting, because Metal Gear Solid is pastiche. It is a combination of all kinds of cliches and genre tropes that we've been pointing out. It is also extremely foundational to a lot of millennial men. This is their childhood hero, you know? They cosplay as them. They got swole because of Metal Gear Solid. Maybe they had some feelings arise in them because of Raiden. All right, let's blow some shit up. You're dead, buddy. All right. Yeah, we're going chaos mode.
What an asshole.
So postmodernism, it's an interesting sort of conversation between, well, like what is like postmodernism's utility, what is earnest and sincere within it, what's this schizophrenia gap, tell me. It's similar to the way modernism was about navigating and renegotiating, but like on a more metatextual level. Jerry, what are you talking about? 1990 was 10 years ago.
It's true, we were all there. Alright. Just talking to my younger coworkers every time, trying to be like, one fun thing to try to figure out was like, do young people still know what Gilligan's Island is? Like, if I played the Gilligan's Island theme, are you gonna have any idea what that is?
That is pretty fun. I remember thinking like, because this is already beyond my time, but just asking people if they know what Who Shot JR is in reference to. There's no reason anyone should really need to know that ever.
But the boomers must. They want to know. They want to feel it. They want to be involved.
Inside. Ow, damn, they really upped security, didn't they? Oh man, I'm doing so bad, and I didn't save. Let's see what happens.
See where it is.
Snake! Snake!
No, Snake!
I forget what the reset rules are. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Last store I went through. I don't have any rations, right? Nope. I have to play a bit nicer. I'm not really going for any kind of challenge run or anything, so I do not mind like dying or fucking up.
Yeah. I really love whenever it goes. I love the way this camera moves around in the environments.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm trying to do first-person stuff too much. I should just like be tapping triangle at times to, I mean not triangle, just tap in square to get off, like pop off quick shots, because there's a very generous like targeting system I'm not taking advantage of. I'm thinking in terms of modern games too much.
Yeah. Modern brain rot.
I think if I equip the thermal goggles, I can actually see. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. God, that's cool. Fuck, that's so cool, dude.
But so what Jameson, I think, identifies as like the utility and possible like value in postmodern art is that it is pastiche that has been co-opted by, you know, commercial interest. It's empty of voice. It doesn't have the same kind of meaning. But there's still people, again, who take it earnestly, and like through that you can kind of like, I think that's the distinction I take away from this essay. It's like, it's not so much that like postmodern can't be sincere or earnest, it's that that earnesty is kind of rooted in a different kind of, it's not like a spiritual centrality, it's like an emotional vibe, or like a felt, or it's a linguistic truth, or a linguistic island truth sort of thing. To that individual, it's important, is what I'm trying to get across.
Gotcha, yeah, like a personal.
Even if it's like, you know, commercial crap, like you can be a Disney adult, like.
That's true.
And so it's worth like looking into like, well, how does this art hook into a person and take advantage of a person in that way? I forget how I'm supposed to angle myself for these other guys. The sincerity's trying to work for it, yeah. Because keep in mind, like a postmodern piece of fiction we've talked about here is Naked Lunch, for instance.
Yeah.
And Burroughs is very much like tearing into like the ideas of like modernity and modern structures, in how the zone is a place where just people get away with horrible shit legally because they have the power. I don't want to blow shit up, but I'm also like, oh my god.
But I also kind of want to blow shit up.
Because I think if I fuck it up too much, I blow something up, but I can't. I remember being able to get a good sight on one of them by standing up here, and I'm just not finding it. Okay.
That shit. Pop that shit.
Did that get it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. And then I can just walk up to this one and see it, right? Yeah. Yeah, postmodernism in a way, Captain Quasar also does shift it from like the assumption being that the art is meaningful and the meaning being there, it becomes a matter of like what the consumer projects onto the object more than like the intention of the object itself. This is where like death of the author comes into play. Jari says boundaries form and move as ideas intermingle. What connects one to another are allowed to shift. I do think it is funny too, because a lot of the frustrations of that type of reactionary, vilified postmodern read, like, you're making your own anxieties by not just embracing the idea. Like, if you embrace the idea, you wouldn't feel an anxiety over having to be like an individual hero. You wouldn't have the anxieties that drive you to shoot up a school. You wouldn't need to be as you wouldn't need to find a dragon to slay. Damn it.
But I have to be the hero.
Is this the end of the area? See, like, I could just be doing this, which I haven't been doing.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I've been so primed to be like go into first person mode, but like as Ja was pointing out, and as the chat's been pointing out, like first person controls clunky, a little hard to get used to, and it's like, well, like they compensate for that by being nice in this sense, even though I'm about to fucking eat it if I don't get out of here. Ah, yep, punched in the face. Okay.
Damn it.
Snake!
Yeah, those new connections build new narratives. Right, and that's the reconstructive process. So like postmodernism is also often, you know, the concept of deconstruction comes up, and that is just like, again, deconstructing the conception of like, where is the center? Like repainting the map. Like, this gets interpreted by reactionaries as being like a destructive thing where it's like being antisocial, like disarm and destroy all the social apparatuses. It's like, no, let's just take everything apart so we see how it's functioning and then rebuild from, like, it's checking under the hood of your car. It's making sure everything's working in order, and if there's something loose, looking at why that screw's loose and like fastening it. Like, hey, your spark plugs fucked up, maybe you need to swap them out. Like, hey, maybe you should consider some of this racism and feminist theory in your calculations for how to run a social system, because Jeffrey Epstein sure as fuck proved the whole thing about there being a patriarchy trying to rape you true. Like,
Yeah. Without question.
I think feminists have been talking about for a while how stuff like legalizing sex work would, you know, make it harder to stigmatize and create things like compromat and like for like having people trafficked. If this is a over, you know, on the level business people can actually hold accountable.
Yeah, but people can actually investigate.
But you know what? That's not you and your friends getting in a truck with guns and TikTok busting pedophiles DAP style.
That's true, which does sound kind of cool, not gonna lie, but like...
until you get shot in a target and are running away and you realize you actually made the pedophile realize people are out here doing this thing and they should like smarten up.
Yep, sure, you gotta teach them new tactics, like you're helping.
Real things happen in the world, folks, and we don't even know about them because we're all on our own linguistic islands. Dads Against Predators, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this dude's jamming.
Oh yeah. I thought I heard that. I was like, I protect this.
Damn right, there's nothing to report.
Nope. That's right, bud. Dude just standing up straight.
Feeling eepy.
Fucking exhausted. Definitely been there.
Your closet isn't big enough for all that cosplay.
Sure they can be.
I think you intentionally get busted here. I remember there being a bit of a fight right before the end of this part. But also, space to hide. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Very ice style attire, yeah. I feel too, born in the 1990s, it surprised me that, like, it wasn't until the late 70s that police militarization really was such a thing, at least in the pop culture. I remember Clint Eastwood's The Gauntlet being an example of this, but, like,
Yeah.
we're so normalized to, like, tacked out SWAT.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the normal. I'm gonna say, even like the NRA was like talking about that shit, like, was it Soldier of Fortune magazine shit back in the 90s? Was just like, the police are all getting urban tactical gear, you need to be ready.
I forget the projector thing, Captain Quasar.
Yes, sir.
This is possibly my least played Metal Gear Solid. This or 4. No, 4 is definitely my least played, but like 1 and 3, well exhausted. Whereas this one, this is also why I wanted to come back to it. I wanted to see how it felt outside of continuity, because I felt like this one was the most like story bridge of them. Very dependent on external lore. Yeah, like this cover's a bit graceless.
Yeah. And for the knife, bro.
Alright, I'm gonna use my USP, hit these guys with some of the real bullets. See, that works nice. Again, I'm trying to use like the I'm trying to use like some modern sensibilities in my handling when it's like, no, enjoy the stretchy, bouncy logic of the auto targeting.
Yeah.
Oh shit, oh shit.
Oh, nice, nice.
Nice dodge. Oh.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Get fucked. Nice.
Oh, can I not?
Who goes there?
Oh, Shalashaska. Why are you here? We thought you were with the Colonel.
What the?
Oh.
Damn.
And this fellow is Revolver Ocelot, who is a character from the first game who survived. It's interesting because like there's a lot of hooks, as I was saying, from the first game into this one, but I do think there's something to... I do think this one has its own individual story going on. It's not completely like dependent on knowing everything else.
Yeah.
The first part of this game really wants to make you feel like you're playing the first game again, though, with like Solid Snake and all that.
Yeah, so everyone are like, oh look, don't worry guys, you're gonna get your... You're gonna have your fun.
We've already passed the Verrazano bridge.
Uncle Snake's gonna be there.
They may be planning to change course. What? The exits to the deck are all sealed.
What are they planning?
If they get Metal Gear, we're going right off the fringe.
Can't let him get Metal Gear.
The men down here are definitely Marines.
If the deck is sealed off, they have no way of knowing that the ship's been taken over.
I'm not interested in fighting these guys. The weapons won't do me much good here.
Can you see Metal Gear?
No, I'll have to go around to the bow. They have some serious defenses here. I doubt the recent rivals want to blast their way through the Marines either.
Wonder where they're headed.
I don't know. Not the beach, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Jari. Like a barber on drugs, off the
Let's go over this
fringe.
one more time. Use this camera to get photographic evidence of the Metal Gear prototype.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
do your thing and take pictures that speak louder than the government's plausible
If we just show evidence to people,
That'll convince them.
that'll fix things. If we just get all these photos and emails to the people, and people know,
Then they can do it.
things will be
Should
fixed.
Marines insignia on the body of Metal Gear. Just let someone try explaining away a clear shot of that.
Yeah. Yeah, Congress.
All right,
There's
Got 'em.
actually one little thing.
just spit it out. I'm used to things going wrong.
It looks like someone's monitoring our transmission.
Who?
I don't have a clue. All they're doing is watching.
We got a
Freak me
stalker.
out less if they tried to interfere with our communications.
Could it have something to do with that cipher we saw?
Maybe. I've switched the encryption protocol for our burst transmission for now. What I want to do is use a different method for sending these photos, just in case.
Instead of using
For each one.
Exactly. There's a workstation in the southeast corner of the
That's
block
kinda
where
great.
Metal Gear is housed. I've made arrangements so that you can send the pictures from the machine.
arrangements.
I hitched a ride on Link 16 into U.S. military's proprietary network. Managed to get into that workstation and overwrote a part of the system software so I could...
That is a bit of the
install
intention with that, Jari. I think, considering where later ideas in the game go, I think there's like a week of like, haha, you the player listening in, and we're talking about a guy listening in on us.
The app will
Oh.
automatically
How
download
postmodern
the
of
image
it.
data from the camera, split the files, and encrypt them individually. The data packets can then masquerade as...
Okay. So all I have to do is push the action button in front of the computer once I have the pictures right.
Push the action button.
Put it that way. And one more thing.
But see, it's very direct and just like, yes, got it, do the action button.
Yeah, do the very simple things.
Okay.
How much time do I have?
I hacked into his personal files and took a look at the text of that speech. I'd say you have 7 more minutes. Longer if he throws in a joke or two.
We'll get there.
7-minute time limit, huh?
Remember, Snake, just the photos, okay?
With these kinds of odds, I won't be making any sudden moves. But that doesn't mean we can just let Metal Gear be hijacked.
Okay, but first the photos.
All right, we'll deal with the rest when we get there.
Stay low.
We initiated development of Metal Gear Ray as a countermeasure to these pirated weapons forces. The only thing that can stand up to a Metal Gear is...
Last thing we're gonna do for tonight is this little sneaking bit, and that'll be the end of this chapter. Quite literally, the game's broken into chapters.
Nice.
Metal Gears that exist all over the world are no longer a threat. The blind rush to nuclear proliferation will be...
This is pretty great.
And it will be the Marine Corps... and
Yeah, this whole...
that will accomplish this. At the moment, every industrialized nation on the globe knows the specifications for Metal Gear. So do a number of rogue states. They are all working on deploying their own Metal Gear force to compete with the U.S.'s nuclear strike capability.
Yes, I am the stealth warrior.
Desire.
Some say that the strategic importance of aircraft carriers will be reduced by the completion of Ray. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from Navy brass, especially those with submarine and air background. Not to mention interference from a major player. But this project is vital to the Marine Corps. The enemy is sometimes closer to home than you think, gentlemen. Always bear that in mind.
Oh shit.
This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete.
Okay, cool.
Nations building up their own
Turn.
Metal Gear force will think twice
Nice.
about their decisions. In light of a military
I thought I
dominance spelled out
screwed
by
myself
Ray.
up a little there. Nope. Damn. Fuck. Nothing, sir.
Snake, respond! Snake! Snake!
But I'm American. I have a gruff voice.
I'm real gravelly.
I think I just go back to, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh nice. Yeah.
Reduced by the completion of Ray. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from
Okay,
Navy
so
brass,
that's not,
especially
okay,
those
I was going the right way the first time. I have to back up like a tank.
not to mention interference from a major player.
Snake, what's wrong?
It's okay. I just had a total bad start there, guys.
It's fine. It's all good.
Happens all the time.
Some say that
That's where this usually doesn't happen.
aircraft carriers will be reduced by the completion of Ray. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from Navy brass, especially those with submarine and air background. Not to mention interference from a major player. But this project is vital to the Marine Corps. The enemy is sometimes closer to home than you think, gentlemen. Always bear that in mind. This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete. Nations building up their own Metal Gear force will think twice about their nuclear strategy in the light of the military dominance spelled out by Ray. The shift in the balance of power will mean a new world order, and we, the Marine Corps, will play a central role in its military affairs.
Last time on Metal Gear Solid 2. Cool.
You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses incident during the Sears administration. The current state of nuclear proliferation is...
Do want to give a shout out just as we're closing out here. Fight Opera next weekend. We're going to be playing a replay show on the Twitch on Wednesday. Check it out. I don't know if Lux is going to be around tomorrow, but we're going to get back to SMT soon. Had a fun time with Burns this weekend. Steak Boy got to screen a movie.
Yeah.
It was a good start to spring for everyone, I think.
Right. It's a really good kickoff.
Met some cool folks. Metal Gear. So this is Metal Gear, Jacob. This is the walking mech that they're trying to sell. This is a different version of Metal Gear than in the prior game. It's kind of interesting because this is a more mass-marketed, like they're scared of Metal Gears proliferating because of the first game. The schematics got out, so now it's like, oh, we built this Metal Gear to blow up those Metal Gears. All right, I think. This in a lot of ways was channeling and calling the whole fucking just arms manufacturer, you know, F-35, like you spend $1 billion on a jet one year, don't use it, spend $1 billion next year, throw all those other jets away. Just a lot of that kind of proliferation shit going on here. This is a bad spot for my camera. I think there's a ladder around here I want to use to get up top.
Let's do a little stretching, shall we?
Oh yeah, he tells people to do exercises. Oh, that dude was asleep. I got very lucky.
Front.
Good.
Left. Up. Left. Up.
Oh, camera guys.
Yeah.
To move on.
All right, we got to crawl behind these dudes.
I have a daughter. It is my greatest wish never to have her.
He has a daughter.
Experience the horror of nuclear war.
Good.
father, I want to leave a better world for the future generation. As a soldier, I know that is my duty. Metal Gear Ray is amphibious, unlike the Army's Rex.
He's doing this for his kid. We need strong weapons to keep America strong.
Of course, but of course. Damn, that thing's crazy looking.
Good.
Alright, I think I got it.
Distribution system identifies targets with unerring.
Let's go see. Let's go upload to the computer and see what Otacon has to say.
It is the ultimate weapon, and it is yours to guard. I'd like you all to think about what that means. This new model of Metal Gear...
Like, his speech is kind of full of shit. It's like the Metal Gear's leaked, and now we have this model to fight other Metal Gears, and now we have to sell this, and like...
This latest Metal Gear, we can rule the sea and land...
You know, just the arms race stuff, the escalation. Just like the stupid mechs are gonna make more stupid mechs, and everybody's gonna have stupid mechs.
We're all doing the stupid mechs.
We're all doing stupid mechs, but we're gonna have the smartest pilots. We're gonna have the most knowledgeable pilots. Barack Obama knows what we're doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Very homeroom teacher to work in stretches.
Yes. Scott. Interesting. I'm not entering any of this, so I just found an entry there's the failed logins.
Mm-hmm.
It's good we got through all the gyms and stuff. I thought I was going to have to split it, but I just went with it whole because we're also going to get through the whole first chapter of this, and I think both are good primers for what the actual game is going to be next session.
So, any codec
Because there is a
numbers from
rug
you, Snake?
pool. I'll show you that much.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I don't think we can use this.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Got the watermark. Got that. Good shot. Hell yeah. Nice. Okay, cool.
We, the Marines, will lead the charge into a new world order with Metal Gear Ray. That is all. Dismissed.
Yeah, you're right, L-Man. Not very good compliance with security protocol.
Who's clapping?
Excellent speech, my friend.
Who the?
Gift of the silver tongue. They say it's the mark of a good officer. End of a liar. Americans are too in love with the sound of their own voice to speak the truth.
Identify yourself.
I am Shalashaska, also called Revolver Ocelot.
Shalashaska.
Damn.
That's what he looked like in the first game.
Fuck yeah.
Shalashastacola.
I was saying, look at like all the motion capture in these, just like the guns like subtly moving and tracking, like is really.
This machine will be quite useful.
It's the James Cameron thing of understanding like space in motion.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back.
This is how he's able to like make these games feel and get people invested in them, even when the technology wasn't like hyper realistic faces a la Death Stranding. But damn, they're good faces.
Yeah, they are. Galukovich.
Nobody move. Understood.
This also brings to mind the movie Under Siege. Just because terrorists hijacking a weapon on a boat.
These Dutch man, this great directing, honestly. Let's be real.
This
It's
ship
pretty
now
awesome.
carries enough Simtex on its key structural points to blow it out of the water at the touch of this button.
Yeah, the camera guy's still doing his job. That's right.
Amen.
Has to die needlessly.
Gotta capture.
We're almost at the target. Get a move on.
Also, I mean, don't you want to pilot a giant death robot?
I mean, kinda, yeah. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'd be lying if I said no, you know?
What do you intend to do with Ray? Sell it on the streets?
I was raised in Snezinsk, formerly known as Chelyabinsk 70, the nuclear research outpost.
What are you talking about?
After the Cold War ended, my home was bought out by the Americans.
Is there a point to this sad story?
Now you would understand. Land, friends, dignity, all sold to the highest bidder, the United States of America. Even the technology that gave birth to these weapons is Russian, developed by us.
Oh?
What do you intend to do?
Russia will rise again. And Ray is the
Allegedly.
I regret to inform you that I have no intention of selling Metal Gear. As I said, I came to take it back.
Take it back. Who would do such dastardly thing?
The stirrups, just to serve, you know.
It's pretty sick.
The Lale Lule Lo. How's that possible?
Who are the Patriots? Who are the Lolly Lule Lo? Who is Ocelot working for? What? Who is Solidus?
What? What?
Who are these names? What?
Russia can rot for all I care.
Since when, Ocelot? When did you turn?
This wasn't in the mission briefing.
Bro, what?
Abandoned her during the Cold War. Metal Gear only has room for one.
That can only be one. Much like Highlander.
Lukovich, you and your daughter will die here.
Damn you!
This was before Zack Snyder.
Damn.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Both of them, yeah.
Sergei, looks like you were long overdue for retirement.
Traitorous dog.
Sick. Love his ponytail.
Yeah. Spry old man.
That dude fucks. Not well, but he fucks.
Show's over. If you wish to live, I suggest you run now. This ship is still in the lower New York harbor. You may yet make it to shore.
That was a
if you
lot of people's
swim for
experience
your
with it,
life.
Captain Quasar.
Yeah.
I do think, like, Zelda Ocarina of Time was probably the first, like, super narrative-intensive game. Well, no, because I played Link's Awakening as well. I get what you're saying, though. Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2 really were just, like, I felt like I couldn't escape the gravity of it. Like, it seemed inevitable that I had to play Metal Gear Solid just because it seemed like the PlayStation 1 game. And it was heavily because like, oh, there's story and there's lore and there's voice acting and there's all this cool shit happening.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, look how well directed this is.
Dude, every action scene has been fucking incredible. Like, it's honestly kind of funny because I'm like, this feels more directed than like Death Stranding 2. And like as far as
and like they had to like again they had to like really like work with like what they needed because the system couldn't like give them fat to chew on.
Look at those hands too, honestly.
It's been a while, brother.
Brother?
You know who I am.
So the first game, Ocelot got his arm cut off.
So young anymore, eh, Snake?
And that arm is Snake's brothers, who is the final boss of the first game.
Whoa.
This is soap opera shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Speaking of postmodernism and pastiche, so much of Metal Gear Solid is just soap opera dressed up in military drag, which is why it gets trafficked into like meaningful narrative for men.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, basically the Renfield from the first game is possessed by Dracula. The Dracula you killed, and the Dracula's your brother.
Fuck yeah.
This is what he's talking about. Like they're all clones of like the best soldier ever. You learn that in the first game.
Oh hell yeah, nice.
But I live on through this arm.
Joe.
So brotherly conflicts, persistence through hatred, haunting the body of the past, clearly. All literal. The insistence or the offloading of meaning onto whatever the audience wants it to be, like the kind of intentional like nuking of the author is actually something J.R.R. Tolkien does with Lord of the Rings. And in a lot of ways, Lord of the Rings is the first postmodern work of fantasy, or the first work of postmodern fantasy. I will not elaborate on that further tonight, maybe next time if I'm feeling it.
You'll just have to come back and see.
Yeah.
Yes.
But look at this robot.
Yes. Give us the sexy robot legs.
And it looks like everyone's dead except Snake. And my brother, who's in an old man's body hijacking a death mech. And somehow this is all a cogent commentary on politics and postmodernism. The thing you will notice is those crossfades, because those were load-bearing crossfades on the PS2 hardware.
Oh yeah.
You're going down, Snake, with this tanker!
No, Snake's gonna get out of this, right? He's the cool action badass dude. He can beat this robot, right? On this boat that's sinking. He's not gonna drown.
Like, yeah, totally.
What up, Sleepy Zane? You showed up right at the end, and I'm actually very satisfied with this session. We meted out the right amount of game.
Dude, yes.
Very happy that we covered a lot of poetry and an essay and all of the tanker chapter, all on our first night of Metal Gear Solid 2. I think rambling with you, Ja, also made me think more on post-structuralism in general. Big question I'm gonna keep up front is, what's the utility of knowing this stuff? Besides yelling at dudes online about it.
I mean, it's a big, big part of it, you know? That's how we engage. Yes. That booty.
We have a problem.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Fuck, it's drinking? What?
Cutting open the side of the boat.
With the water? Damn.
Oh, it's got like a laser.
Snake!
That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh man, the water saws are amazing to watch. I like how it also kind of looks like the creature from Tremors.
Kinda.
With the mouth opening up. Sans tongues.
Yeah, it's like a weird shark, stingray, dinosaur.
Yeah, turtle thing.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's cool.
No problems. Proceeding as planned, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who's he taking orders from, guys? Who's behind my brother, old man? Nice, that scale. Oh shit.
No, sir.
So the bad guys won?
Yes, at the location we discussed. Yes, I have photographic evidence of Snake on the scene. The cipher was most useful. I look forward to tomorrow morning's news flash. I would say the Marine Corps' plans are on indefinite hold. Yes, of course, Mr. President.
What? Why would the president do this?
Why would Donald Trump do this?
We're gonna meet the president. And Snake failed. Game over? Yes, we're going. Oh, my controller died because cutscene scene. Got it. Yes, let's
I
save.
gotcha.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, go right ahead. That's part of the reason we're playing it. Wow, an hour 47. All right, Techno Hotties and Thoughties, we have cleared the tanker mission in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Too sick.
Oh man, let's pause this. Let's get out of here before we get more cutscenes going. I don't want to spoil things for folks. We'll be back on Thursday with more Metal Gear Solid 2. I think we're just going to keep talking. We're going to be focusing more on the game narrative and kind of integrating some stuff we talked about in this session into the next session because we're through with the big tanker chapter. Now we're off to get the game proper. And Jacob, we're not playing as Solid Snake anymore.
Wait.
Yeah, he just died. We just watched him drown at sea, and we'll see what comes next.
I'll be really upset if we don't see him again.
We aren't doing a movie this Sunday. We have Fight Opera this weekend. Be sure you're following what Fight Opera's doing on Twitch, as well as our friends over at the Pixel Goblins and Wizworld Live.
Yes, do it. You'll love it.
There's going to be a cool coming together of things soon. I won't say much about that. Keep an eye on our socials. But it's been nice chilling with y'all. Thank you for creating a shared language with us. Don't give in to the schizophrenia of postmodernism.
Be real.
We'll talk more about the utility of all this stuff soon. But for now, good night, y'all. Take care.
Night. 4 kisses.
Oh wait, I'm gonna do wait. We're gonna do one more thing. I just wanted to give a heads up. First off, I want to shout out to Esteban Rodriguez. They're a frequent commenter on our YouTube channel, and because our YouTube channel is synced, if you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, comment. We're starting to do same day uploads, and it's going to be much easier to kind of keep track with us temporal-wise. You know, the YouTube's not going to be talking about shit that happened 2 months ago. It's all in the now, tonight. And if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet and you're here on Twitch, go do it right now. I want more YouTube subscribers.
Do it.
I have some ideas on how we can make more interactive components and just keep this train going. Thank you all for being here, and now
yeah, we can do without you.